All right, listen, y'all. I'm like losing my mind right now. I'm pretty livid with this one, and the crazy thing is this. It's like I'm not even upset like the Bulls' effort in this one. Honestly, everyone's gonna talk about offensive rebounds we gave up and all this and that. And I'm like, look, I'm aware. Yeah, the Bulls got they got killed on the rebounding and the rebounding numbers tonight. They gave up a billion second chance points. I'm aware that happened. Okay, but there is just so many things right now with this Bulls offense that it's so annoying to watch this Bulls team try to figure it all out as things happen. Sorry for the loud music. I am just I can't when people are gonna look at this, they're gonna be like, what are you talking about? The Bulls scored 110 points. No, listen, 110 points in today's game is not enough. Okay, it just straight up is not enough. Right? I don't want to hear that the Bulls they did enough offensively, and the defense and the rebounding sucked. Okay, the Bulls lost this game because the offense is so awful. Okay, that's the reason why the Bulls lost this game. The Chicago Bulls lost this game because the half-court offense is the worst in the damn league. All right, I cannot stand to watch this team as they struggle to figure out how the hell they're supposed to actually score. All right, when the Lakers or any opposing team is making shots, hitting free throws, or just in general making the Bulls have to play through half court, this Bulls team's in trouble. Okay, this is the reason why in the playoffs I have no faith if they actually make the playoffs. All right, I know some people are like looking at the playoffs like, oh, maybe there's a little bit of like an opportunity here because we played so well against great teams. No, there's not. All right, I want to make that clear right now. This Bulls team has so many issues on the offensive end. And it's like, you would think that with Vucevic, DeRozan, and Levine, they shouldn't have these issues. But when you have a coach that legit does not know how to actually run an offense, and then you have two guys that are legit 90s style players out there on the court with DeRozan and Vucevic, who take inefficient shots all the time, you're going to get this. This is what happens. And the Lakers straight up said, Zach LaVine is not going to go off tonight. We are going to double every single time Zach LaVine touches the ball. And they did just that, and LaVine's taken out of the equation. And when LaVine's taken out of the equation, your half-court offense looks like this, okay? This is what happens in a half-court offense. If you're going to be questioning me about this, okay, let me just show you a couple of things right now that I think is really important to look at, all right? The Chicago Bulls in this game, okay? Let's just look at a few things. The Chicago Bulls in this game, they had 27 points off of turnovers. That is fantastic, right? That is a great number. Something that we did on Sunday in LA was that we had that number very high, which was awesome to see, okay? Fast break points. The Chicago Bulls had 22 fast break points, okay? In transition, this Chicago Bulls team is great. They know how to score at will in transition. They're fantastic when they're out and running, which is something that we've said all season. Their defense, which is ranked 5th in the league, has generated offense for a decent amount of the season, especially in the second half. That's fantastic. That's awesome to say. And I want to see that because that is efficient basketball. But when it comes to everything else in this Bulls offense, when it gets to the half-court game, this Bulls offense is disgustingly bad. And I am legit pissed off at Billy Donovan right now. I am pissed off at some of the players as well. But at the end of the day, I understand that people like Billy Donovan, and he Joe Coley's writing articles about how he's such a great coach, but this is the reason why I have an issue with Billy Donovan right now. The defense is great. I've given Billy Donovan a ton of credit for his defense this season. His defense has been fantastic all season. He's made fantastic adjustments on the defensive end all season long. But when it comes to the offense, man, this is when it goes bad. This is when I don't understand what this Bulls team is trying to do on the offensive end in the half court. Why are we shooting so many mid-range shots? Why are we always relying on the post up with Nikola Vucevic? Everyone says, well, Nikola Vucevic got going early in the first half. Why did the Bulls go away from him? You know what happened when the Bulls just solely relied on Nikola Vucevic's post up in the first half? We got down to 27-10 start, okay? Don't tell me that's a good start and that we need to keep feeding Vucevic in the post. We got down 27-10 when Nikola Vucevic was the only guy scoring the basketball. Don't tell me that Nikola Vucevic should be the guy that needs to start getting the shots all the time. Don't tell me that. The Bulls sucked out of the gate, and it's because Nikola Vucevic had the basketball and shot it in the post a billion times. He scored. I'll give him credit for it. But guess what? You see what happens, right? You score a bunch of twos. The Lakers are going down the other court. They're hitting threes. They're getting easy baskets. They're hitting layups. That's the issue with this Bulls team, okay? We got off to that terrible start because our half-court offense couldn't do crap, right? I don't want to hear anymore that we went away from Vucevic. That's our fault. We got to post them up. Like, see, this is what happens when you don't post up Vucevic. I'm sorry. Did you not see that the Chicago Bulls went down to 27-10 to start this game? And all that happened was Nikola Vucevic was posting up. It was post up, post up, post up. He made some shots. Credit to him. But you also missed some shots. He also turned the ball over. And the Lakers on the other end, they're scoring at will. That's the issue, okay? And Billy Donovan needs to do a better job to make sure that this team is taking more efficient shots, all right? I'm aware that this Bulls team took 33 shots from three-point range tonight. Everyone says that that's too many shots. I'm sorry. If you think that's too many shots, man, from three-point range, you better not be watching any of these teams that I'm about to click on right here. You must hate the Golden State Warriors. You must hate the Boston Celtics. You must hate the Dallas Mavericks. You must hate the Milwaukee Bucks. All these teams that are better than this Bulls team right now. And guess what? They all have a better offense than this Bulls team right now, okay? I don't want to hear that this Bulls team took too many three-point shots. We're in the low 30s. We're in the low 30s in terms of three-point shots, man. That is garbage. I don't want to hear that, oh, we took too many three-point shots. I'm aware they're not going down, but this team instead is relying on the post-up, instead is relying on the mid-range, and it's getting us nowhere. We're not scoring. We're just putting up twos. Sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. This is the reason why this Bulls offense is garbage, okay? If you think that 33 three-point attempts is too many threes in today's era, when there are teams averaging 42 threes per game, you don't have the software update for today's game. This is the reason why I am so pissed off at all Bulls fans, or I shouldn't say all Bulls fans, but just the old heads that want to say that this Bulls team takes too many three-point shots when we're dead last in three-point attempts per game. I don't want to hear it, man. I straight up just don't. And it bothers me when I listen to the post game. We're down here, guys. I don't even want to hear this at this point, man. I don't. I straight up just don't want to hear it from Stacey King and Kendall Gill tonight, man. This is the reason why this Bulls team is garbage. We take the least amount of three-point shots per game. It's not a shock that the Atlanta Hawks have also sucked and they're down here. Pelicans, they've sucked. The Denver Nuggets, they're down here too. But guess what? They score in the paint. They get into the free throw line. Something that the Bulls don't do either. If you're not going to shoot threes, you got to get into the paint. You got to get to the free throw line. Two other things the Bulls are at the bottom of the league in. Everything is bad with this Bulls offense, and it's so frustrating to watch. This Lakers team just killed us from the free throw line. That's one of the things that you got to win in a game. Win the free throw battle. Obviously, the Lakers are going to win it. You got to get to the paint then. If you're the Bulls kind of did that. I mean, I think the Lakers actually beat us tonight in terms of paint points. It just mind boggles me. We were tied in terms of paint points tonight. But you didn't get to the free throw line, and half-court offense also just sucks. So, congratulations for the Chicago Bulls. You just don't know how to run a team, Billy Donovan. Yeah, it was horrendous. It just straight up was horrendous tonight. I'm pretty livid. I genuinely do not care about the defense right now. The defense, in my opinion, yes, they had their issues tonight. I also saw some good stuff defensively, and I thought the Bulls did a good job. I mean, if the Bulls didn't do well defensively, then they wouldn't have 27 points off turnovers and 22 fast break points, okay? So I'm aware that the Lakers, they had 121 points tonight, which is not great, right? But at the end of the day, we're looking at a bunch of stuff, and the biggest thing is this right here is the second chance, which is where the Bulls really fell off defensively. Don't know what happened tonight. I know Drummond's out. I hope he's doing fine. I wish him nothing but the best. But this is what killed us tonight, the rebounding battle. And the Bulls just did not want to get any rebounds tonight. But, you know, a big reason why we lost the rebounding battle is because our offense sucks. You heard me right. Our offense sucks. We suck. Frustrating. Really frustrating. So, I am very upset at this. I just can't. I'm not happy with Billy Donovan right now. I know everyone's just gonna, people have issues with Billy, and it's so funny just to watch it. Like, they always have issues with Billy on the defensive end of the ball, but they never have issues with Billy on the offensive side of the ball. And I'm here to say that the issue with Billy Donovan is the offensive side of the ball. It's not defense, it's offense. Zach LaVine tonight, he took 2 3-point shots again. This is your best 3-point shooter, guys. This is your best 3-point shooter on the roster right now. He shoots 38% for 3-point range on 7.5 attempts per game. He took 2 tonight. Don't tell me that this is Zach's fault, because you know what Zach LaVine was getting tonight? He was getting double teamed all night long. All night long. Zach LaVine was getting double teamed all night long. He's not going to be taking 3-point shots when he's getting double teamed. Okay? This is how Billy Donovan needs to adjust. What Billy Donovan needs to do, okay, if Zach LaVine is getting double teamed when he's coming off the pick and roll, then Billy Donovan, what he has to do is figure out plays to get Zach LaVine 3-point looks and get him other shot opportunities where he doesn't get doubled. Hence, get Zach LaVine moving off the ball. I don't care how you do it, just get him some off-ball opportunities. Run him off some pin downs. Get him coming off some pin downs and double screens. Get this guy moving towards the basket on cuts and just hard curl screens. Do something different, because if Zach LaVine doesn't have the ball and he's getting double teamed when he doesn't have the ball, then there are so many other things then that the offense opens up. Then, like, if Zach LaVine actually gets double teamed when he doesn't have the ball, then there should be someone open all the time. But if that's obviously not going to happen. So if you're gonna get Zach LaVine shots here, right, which he only took 14, which is too low, okay, he needs to be shooting at bare minimum 20 per night, then you gotta be better, Billy Donovan. You gotta be better. Do better. Figure out ways to get Zach LaVine shots, and it's not just through the pick and roll at the top of the key, because we know what's going to happen if it's a pick and roll at the top of the key is that he's going to get doubled. You throw it to Vooch, and Vooch is not going to take the shot because they take away him, and then they throw it out to Ayo Dosunmu, to the Patrick Williams, to the Derrick Jones Jr., to the Alex Carusos for 3-point shots, and those don't go down. We saw it tonight, right? It's all backwards. Okay, everything is backwards with this Bulls offense. I understand making the right pass, which, by the way, I thought the Bulls Big Three did a fantastic job of doing tonight. They made the right basketball play a ton of times. But at the end of the day, if you're Billy Donovan, that's not how you're going to win this basketball game. If you're going to be relying on Alex Caruso and Patrick Williams and Derrick Jones Jr. and Javonte Green and Ayo Dosunmu to all be making their 3-point shots that the Lakers are all giving up for free, you are a terrible coach. And that's what the Bulls did tonight. They relied on their worst 3-point shooters to hit 3-point shots, because that was their win condition. If the others made those 3-point shots, the Bulls win this game. If they don't, which is a high chance that they don't, they lose this game. And that's what happened tonight. They lost this game. Instead of having all these guys, right, the Beverleys, the P. Wills, the Dosunmus, the Derrick Jones Jr.'s, the Alex Carusos, all these guys taking shots, how about your big three get more shots, right? I don't understand why Zach LaVine only got 14 shots tonight. Why is DeRozan only getting 15? Why is Vucevic only getting 16? But most importantly, why is most of Vucevic's shots in the post tonight? That doesn't make any sense. Vucevic should be shooting a bunch of layups and shooting a bunch of 3-point shots. Vucevic took 4 3-point shots. I think he should have taken 8 tonight. It's simple. It's really simple. But instead, we have all this going on, which is pure garbage on the offensive end of the half court. This is the reason why I am just gonna be just pounding it into Bulls Nation. We cannot continue to do this. Okay, everyone needs a software update. This Bulls team is playing 90s basketball. This is the reason why this Bulls team sucks on offense. Okay, I don't give a damn about the defense. Don't tell me about the defense right now. This defense is fine. Okay, we're 6th right now. It's fine. The offense, though, we're down here, and that's unacceptable. It cannot continue this way. And I truly hope that we see some difference moving forward. And I specifically talk about after this season, because we know this season is screwed. All right, I apologize for my rant. I'll get the chat now. Beverly isn't a bad shooter. He's not a bad shooter. He went 0 for 5 though tonight, Noel. So there's that. Pilongo is shooting threes, barely taking 5 though. Zach should be taking 10 threes per game. End of story, but I'm asking way too much ability. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, Patrick Williams, I'm aware that, like, I've always said he needs to keep shooting threes. He did not have it tonight, though, right? Patrick Williams did not hit threes tonight, right? So if he's not hitting threes tonight and he shot 5, but Zach LaVine, your best 3-point shooter, shot 2, you're doing something wrong as a coach. That's you on the coach. That's on Billy Donovan, okay? Like, I know that Zach is supposed to be, like, you know, he needs to do things and everything. Like, he's gotta figure it all out. And he, like, the problem with this Bulls team also is that Zach's the one dude on this team that can reliably get into the paint and score, right? So you need him driving to the basket, which is fine, which he does that a ton, which he basically did this all the entire game, right? That's all Zach did, is just get to the basket, get to the basket, get to the basket. That's fine. But you also got to make sure he gets his 3-point shots up, because this is the only dude that I can rely on to be hitting a bunch of threes in a game, right? And P-Will should be up in that category too. But P-Will didn't have it tonight. So if he doesn't have it tonight, then Zach has to be shooting more. But we didn't get that tonight. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. But this sort of style play doesn't work efficiently unless we have an actual 3-point shooter. Sure, but how about this then? Instead of having the other guys, you know, the Carusos, the Ayadasumus, like these guys that aren't reliable from 3-point range, right? I'm saying make Zach take more shots. Get Zach LaVine the ball more. He took 14 shots tonight. That's a problem. Okay, I don't care what the hell happened. Like. Zach LaVine taking 14 shots when he is averaging 29 points per game in the month of March, that is just a straight up issue. You did a terrible job coaching tonight on the offensive end. That's your fault. Rest of the league is playing NBA 2K13. The Bulls will play live 94. Yeah, straight up. That's a good one, Lon Bob. They don't need software update, need a new console. Yeah. P-Will bust? No, P-Will's not a bust, in my opinion. He had a bad shooting night. He also, in my opinion, I thought that he had an opportunity to score a little bit more inside. He didn't. I'm gonna show you 2 plays back to back that, in my opinion, that it just kind of just summarizes the Bulls season. You know, I'm gonna show you some plays that it's really bad. Since Zach does have a dribbling bag, he can't really create space for himself to shoot. Best he can do is step back 3 under not the best conditions. We can't expect LaVine to play like KD or Harden. Well, look, I think Zach LaVine can create his own shot, but here's the thing. Like I said, the Lakers were double teaming him all night tonight. Okay, it's not like the whole, you know, let Zach LaVine cook thing. It's not possible tonight. The Lakers are double teaming him no matter what's happening. Okay, they're like, we are not letting you shoot the ball. Which is smart of them, by the way. Okay, give Darvin Ham and the Lakers credit. They did exactly what they were supposed to tonight, which is to make sure Zach LaVine can't get going, right? So I think Zach in a one-on-one situation can easily create a step back 3 look, because he has that ability, right? But my issue is this: Billy Donovan, you have to get Zach LaVine 3-point shots. You can run him off screens. You can do so many other things off ball. Okay. And you know what's funny tonight is that we saw that both DeRozan and LaVine were getting double teamed tonight, but I didn't see the DeRozan-LaVine pick and roll tonight. Because you know, if it's a DeRozan and LaVine pick and roll, you can't double either one in those situations, right? Because then the other one's open. So why not run that tonight? We didn't run that tonight. I didn't see one DeRozan and LaVine pick and roll tonight when you know that DeRozan and LaVine are getting doubled on the offensive end. Like, run the pick and roll with those 2 guys. Make the defense actually have to double one of them. If they don't, then it's an isolation 1-on-1. And guess what? DeRozan is one of the best isolation scorers in the league. Zach's also up there too. And I trust those 2 to actually score the ball if it's a 1-on-1 situation. But we didn't see that tonight. Like that's the thing. It's like everyone's gonna keep saying Donovan's making adjustments. I'm not seeing adjustments. I'm specifically talking about the offensive end. The defensive end, I think Donovan is always making adjustments there. He does a damn good job. Offense, though, I'm just sitting here like, come on. Something, please. Imagine how Pio would develop with a real coach like Pop or Tibbs. I question about Tibbs, but yeah, Popovich. Yeah, I'm not saying that Patrick Williams is going to develop into Kawhi Leonard 2.0. I'm not on that trajectory with him right now. I have Patrick Williams developing as OG Anunoby 2.0. That's what I have Patrick Williams developing as. And I'm going to be honest, I think that Patrick Williams this season has gone in the right direction. Like I truly think that his development has gone up. Okay, like it's gone in the right direction. And look, I'm being patient with him because he's 21. Okay, like everyone was saying that Wendell Carter Jr. need to be gone at 21 years old. Which, by the way, I don't care about Wendell in general. But like, my point is this: is just I'm not giving up on him, and I don't think his development's done. I also don't think the Bulls have developed him badly this season. I mean, his defense has been fantastic. It's just the offensive end is just I do question sometimes like his where his mind is on the offensive end. He in general needs to shoot more threes because he shoots over 40% from 3-point range this season. He shot 5 tonight, so give him credit. But it's also then with him, he needs to just do a better job of just being off ball. Like he has to understand when there's off ball opportunities for him, because I'm going to show you a clip here that shows like Patrick Williams is like he's not fully engaged on the offensive end, and it leads to problems for this Bulls team, which is where I do question his offensive development. Yeah. Well, I see me progressing offensively though. He is, but the numbers don't say anything, right? Like I think this is also one of the reasons why I'm so pissed off at this Bulls offense. Like I think Kobe White should be averaging easily like 12 points per game in 23 minutes. Okay, look, he's getting 23 minutes. He's averaging 9.2 points per game. Kobe needs to be shooting more than 4.6 threes per game. Okay, he's one of the few shooters that like reliably shoots over 35% on this roster. Like you have to, if you're Kobe White, shoot more than these amount of shots per game. And the crazy thing is that he's getting these opportunities, and this is the reason why I've been saying that the Bulls offense is problematic, because we see sometimes that Kobe takes those mid ranges that it's like we don't need that, right? I think Kobe's offensive game has developed nicely, but again, the numbers don't say anything about it. Okay, the eye test says it. Like the eye test is there that like yeah, Kobe White has looked nice on offense this season, but he's averaging 23 minutes per game. He's not taking as many shots, and he's not getting as many points. Like the numbers just don't say anything. Why? It's like the offense is garbage. The offensive system is stupid. We got people taking inefficient shots, and we got people taking inefficient shots over taking more efficient shots. If Kobe White just focused on getting to the basket and shooting threes, this wouldn't be an issue. I feel like this number is easily at 11 points per game. But we don't have that, right? Because we see sometimes that he is trying to pass the ball, and then the offense all gets screwed up because they decide, hey, we're not going to shoot the 3 ball. We're going to take a mid-range shot instead, or post up Vucevic, and it just leads to just terrible offense. It comes down to coaching and how we play a lot of the time where only one of them is on the floor. Yeah, they know Zach's handle is weak for a guard. That's why the double team can be so effective against him. Now add the fact that we literally got nothing to help him, and you just make the defense life easy. Yeah, with his hezzy and out of this world explosion, he can destroy most 1v1 matchups, which we saw Zach in the second quarter. What he adjusted, right? Because let's be real, the Lakers were double teaming Zach. It's either if he had an isolation situation and we saw them like collapse the paint, or it's that you run the pick and roll with Zach and they immediately double team him once he comes off the screen. So what Zach started doing in the second quarter was he started to reject the screen, right? And so he went away from the screen, and that got him some 1v1 matchups. He was able to explode to the rim, and that's how he got most of his shots in this game. But that we see then after halftime, that's not there, right? Because Zach tried to do it, he turned it over. It's like that's the reason why I'm like he can do that for a quarter, but he can't do that the entire game. Again, Donovan, where are you? Right? Diamond has to do better to just help Zach get better shots, okay? Or help Zach at least get some shots. Because we know that with Zach, he has the ability to, like, if he gets that one-on-one, he's probably going to make it, right? Mike Budenholzer isn't a great coach, but the front office is getting the things to work with. The front office is hanging Donovan out to dry. I think here's what I think. Okay, I do think that this Bulls team. Okay, I think that this Bulls team. A lot of people think that this Bulls team is supposed to be like a 50-win team. I've never said that about this team. I've always said that this Bulls team is around like the 43-ish win range. Okay, I don't like when I see people talk about how this Bulls team is supposed to be like significantly better, right, than what they're performing. Okay, so this Bulls team dropped to 36 and 40 tonight. All right, there's 6 games left to go. That doesn't shock me because I think that this Bulls team is actually pretty bad. Like it's overall pretty garbage. Okay, and I say that mostly in terms of the offensive end because I think defensively this team is pretty all right, especially when you have an Alex Caruso on your team, but in terms of offense, and I'm specifically looking at two of the big three, right? When you have DeRozan and you have Vucevic, I just think those guys in today's league they just don't have much value. Okay, they don't bring much value to the offensive end. So if we're gonna talk about is the front office screwing over Donovan, I do think that part of it is on the front office. Like I in general, I think most of this is on the front office, by the way, but the part that I can't let go here is that we see consistently how players can change, right? And they go into a different offensive system, they play within the system, right? The Bulls with DeMar DeRozan and with Nikola Vucevic, and I'm specifically looking at Nikola Vucevic here, okay? Nikola Vucevic has the skills to be a big man that can mostly score in the restricted area and mostly shoot threes, okay? But you look at his shot chart, it is mostly mid-range, okay? That's the part that I can't forgive Donovan, okay? When I see that, I feel like that's something that Donovan has control over. Like, I understand that Vooch, he wants post-up touches. And I honestly think that if Donovan's trying to give it to him, because it's a staple in the Bulls offense right now. But if Donovan was actually coaching to be more efficient with this offense, Vooch would not be posting up. Vooch would not be taking mid-range shots. He'd be running pick and roll with Nikola Vucevic all the time. Or what if you're seeing Levine and DeRozan get double teamed, what you then do is you have someone else set the screen, let the double team then come, and then you pass it to that person in the middle, and then Nikola Vucevic is then on the receiving end, either shooting a three in the corner or getting a basket or shooting at the rim. But instead, we're seeing that Nikola Vucevic is always setting the screen, and so then Nikola Vucevic is then in passer mode after the double team, right? Because we see the 3v4 happen, and Vucevic is always trying to find the open man because they stop Vucevic from going right to the rim, right? So I just think that the Bulls, the offense is just so inverse that they need to just completely fix it. And this is the reason why I'm saying this is on Donovan. That part is strictly on Donovan. I also think that DeMar DeRozan with him, I understand that we can never just get away from his mid-range, and he'll never ever stop shooting the mid-range jumper, okay? It's the reason why I've been saying I think the Bulls need to trade DeRozan immediately this offseason, because if you actually look at it, he shot like close to 2,000 mid-range shots this season, which is ridiculous, okay? But even with DeRozan, the thing is that you can use DeRozan more effectively than what we're seeing right now, okay? And let me show you an example of what I would like to actually see from Billy Donovan and some more plays that I've seen them run, but for some reason they decide to just not continue to run it, and I'm so confused why. It truly doesn't make any sort of sense here. But let me just show you this play, okay? Like I'm doing some stuff right now, not spoiling anything, but let's just watch this, okay? Sorry, I closed it out. Hold on, pulling it back up.
And they've got the early.
Let's watch this play, guys. This is a play against the Brooklyn Nets when the Bulls just put up a drastic number against Brooklyn. They could not. The Brooklyn Nets could not score or couldn't stop the Bulls from scoring in this game. Okay, let's look at this. So if DeMar DeRozan really needs to be in the mid range, right? You can keep DeMar DeRozan here, and if you spread the floor correctly, this is technically an isolation, right? And DeMar DeRozan in the isolation is one of the best scorers in the league, okay? straight up isolation, it's fantastic because this allows him to get to the rim, which is where I want him to go most of the time. But he's probably going to rely on the mid-range jumper. Fine. But what this does is that this puts the defense in a really tough scenario, because if you put DeRozan here, then and you spread the floor correctly, then everyone's honed in on DeRozan, right? They're all scared about him, but then you can use DeMar DeRozan as a passer in the high post. Okay? You don't look like, if you don't need to use DeRozan as a scorer in the high post. Again, I don't like the post up in general. Mostly for Vucevic. If it's a guard, it's a different story. But then watch this play. Okay? You use DeRozan as a passer here. You have Zach come off a pin down from Vucevic, who's setting a screen here. And what does this result in? This results in a Zach LaVine 3. We didn't see this tonight. Okay? Like, I want to see more of this. But we didn't see this tonight. Why? I don't get it. Right? And I know that we can get DeRozan into that spot. So if we can do that against the Brooklyn Nets, why can't we do it against the Lakers? It doesn't make any sense. This is the part that I'm so confused. I don't get it. Okay? Want to watch it one more time? Look at Zach. Pin down. Bang. Open 3-point shot. Why wasn't this run tonight? This is something that should be run every single night. But we don't see this, right? It truly does not make any sense why we didn't see this play tonight. Like I said, Donovan is playing Connect 4 when he should be playing chess. Yeah. DeMar is a problem for both Vucevic and Zach. He hits in the way a lot. I'm going to show you a play where DeMar is a problem because he doesn't shoot the 3-ball. Donovan started to make Booty Holder look like Jerry Sloan. George Karl is pretty yeah. Maybe. I don't know about George Karl. I also worry about George Karl being in like the old days, but who knows? He might be better than Donovan in terms of offense. And also Carmelo is an issue. Yeah. Carmelo's closest we got to DeMar. You know how Carmelo's career went moving forward, and he was a much better player in his prime than DeMar ever was. Yeah. Pop kept DeRozan in line though. So that's the thing. It's like if you look at DeMar DeRozan's numbers in San Antonio, DeMar DeRozan was more of a passer. He was more of a playmaker, and he averaged much less points per game. And when he got to the Bulls, I didn't expect him to only average 21 per game. I just did not expect him to go up to 28 last season and then 25 again this season. Like that wasn't something I was expecting when we got DeMar DeRozan. But you see what happens when you solely rely on his mid-range, right? If he is the first option or the second option on the team, this offense is going to struggle. Like, he is going to score, right? I understand DeMar DeRozan is going to score and with that mid-range shot. He is going to put up points, but the problem is that it's inefficient points. It's slow and we're not getting more possessions, which we need to. It's obviously not a 3-point shot, right? And the mid-range shot, as well as he shoots it, right? It's not a shot. It's not even close to comparison as a shot at the rim, right? A shot at the rim is always close to 70. It's around 66% ish, right? In a shot in a restricted area or that's honest. That's where league average is about, right? Or maybe it's a little bit lower. But DeMar DeRozan shooting the mid-range is about 50%, which is very high for him, right? But again, it's still technically not that efficient, especially if you're going to be shooting it with a guy contesting the shot, which, the shot typically goes down in percentage. This is the reason why it's like when the opposing team is either putting up free throws on the other end or draining threes on the other end, and then you come down and you're just shooting mid-range, you're going to lose. It's a math game, right? Free throws go down at a much higher clip. Like the average, just an average team free throw percentage is at least around 75%, even if you have terrible free throw shooters on the team, right? Like we see free throw percentages for teams at 80%. And that's the reason why everyone says that you need to get to the free throw line because it's an efficient shot, right? Getting to the free throw line is always a good thing, right? It's a very efficient shot. And then obviously we got teams shooting the 3-ball constantly. And then you see the Bulls come down and it's mid-range, slow. We're not going to play fast. We're going to take our time. We're going to run down the shot clock until there's 6 seconds left and then rely on DeRozan isolation. Like, everything is wrong with this Bulls team in terms of half-court offense. Everything is completely wrong. And it truly does bother me just to see this. So yeah, if with the personnel, this sort of play, like, it makes a lot of sense to run this play. But again, we didn't see this tonight. I didn't see Zach LaVine shoot a 3 like this tonight. I mean, we could argue there was one close to the end, which I don't know why it was at the end of the game. Yeah, it's all messed up here. It truly is so incredibly bad what we're witnessing here. We are legit watching 90s basketball, and it's frustrating to see it. Yeah, we need San Antonio. Yeah, since nobody really watched the Spurs tomorrow, is that he wasn't that much different. It was the same player. He just didn't shoot as much. He was passing the same way he is passing now. He averaged more assists though. That's the thing. Like if you look at DeMar DeRozan's assist numbers, like he averaged more assists in San Antonio than what he's averaging here, right? As you can see here, 6.9 for San Antonio here, and then 5.6 in the other year, which is, that's relatively similar. But I'm talking about this year. Like, you see, but you also see this though, like the shooting numbers are down. Now, he also just did not shoot the ball as much in San Antonio because of the different system, right? You can see that he's only attempting 15 shots per game compared to, obviously, here he's averaging 20 and 17. So there's just a big difference, right? Less DeMar DeRozan shooting, which is less mid-range shots, which is better offense. Okay. Hey, look, San Antonio, like they're also kind of they're struggling also to kind of adjust. Like, I know Popovich is still kind of, he likes to run. He still likes to run the post up a lot. I don't think that's something that Pop is ever going to go away from, which I don't blame him for. But he kind of still, like, he still is trying to adjust to the modern era a little bit. But he over 3 decades has adjusted a lot more than a lot of other coaches, right? If you look at, Greg Popovich coaching in the 90s compared to what he was coaching in the 2000s, there's a big difference, right? And hence also coaching in then the 2010 decade, there's also a difference. So he's adjusted for a long time, and so, he's on his way out, and so he's going to stick to principle with him. But yeah, this shows you there's some differences going on here. Until we get him out here, he was trying to create for himself in his passing before he gets clapped by the defense. He just did that more instead of shooting. It's just Forbes, Bellinelli, Mills, Burt, Tons, Gale, White were making their shots when he was passing. Of course, the average more people were making their shots there. Yeah. It's just that I'm also aware that he didn't really have a Zach LaVine next to him in San Antonio. Obviously, the role players in San Antonio were much better, just straight up much better than what the Bulls have here. The role players here are not very good, and I think we're kind of figuring that out very quickly, unfortunately, for our Bulls team. As much as Kobe White has improved, I just don't really think he's that good. I'm aware how much he's improved. I just don't think he's that good. As people are starting to talk about him, I would assume he's having issues. Derrick Jones Jr. doesn't shoot. Javonte Green's been out for a good amount of the year, but he doesn't shoot. Caruso doesn't shoot, right? And Patrick Williams is just starting to figure it out that he needs to shoot more, but he still takes not enough, in my opinion. Yeah, it's bad. It's overall bad, and it's like, in the end, that's the reason why I'm so confused. Like, I just don't understand why none of these guys didn't get to 20 field goal attempts per game, or field goal attempts in this game. They should have, obviously. I think, if we're running the pick and fade with Vooch more, then maybe he probably gets to 20. But we didn't. Instead, we're running pick and fade to the mid-range elbow area with Vooch, and it doesn't get us anywhere. So yeah. I'm sorry about my rant. I'm sorry about my frustration, but I'm truly sorry that I'm repeating this. Like, if I feel like a broken record, but this is the issue. Like, this is straight up the issue with this Bulls team, and I'm so annoyed with it. So yeah, I'm gonna show you a few things here, okay? And to me, this is just the epitome of this Bulls season, okay? I'm gonna show you a few plays here that I'm like, wow. If you want a definition of this Bulls season, then here you go. Okay, you're gonna hear a noise here because I'm pulling up the recording. I apologize, but let's just watch this. Okay, let's just watch this sequence from this Bulls team just to kind of look at, just to look at how terrible this was. What do you think the realistic package for DeMar is? I think it's maybe a young player that got drafted probably late first round. I think it's a veteran type player, and then I think it's a first round pick. He's on a 1-year deal. We're not getting much, and I think teams kind of understand his age and his game, which is a mid-range game. He's just getting older, and the mid-range game is inefficient. You're not gonna get a lot. Yeah. Sorry. Let me find this here. 7:55. Let's just watch this as the Bulls continue just to give me gray hairs, and I'm only 21 years old, guys. Let's watch this treacherous sequence as things just basically unraveled in this third quarter. Okay. Sorry. Let me turn down the volume here. All right. Lob happens. Forget about this. I truly do not care about this right now. Let's just watch this offense. All right. Levine brings it up the court. All right. Here we go. And he drives into the lane and pass out to Patrick Beverley. Okay. This is a good drive by Zach. He brought in 3 defenders. This is good. Okay. Now, he threw it out to a 3-point shooter. Good. Now, Patrick Beverley sees that D'Angelo Russell is probably going to come towards him, which is very obvious. Well, what's then the pass? Patrick Beverley passes over to Patrick Williams. Okay? And Patrick Williams, because he was hesitant, he stepped out of bounds. He stepped out of bounds here. This is the catch and think. I've been saying this all season long. This is the catch and think that has killed the Bulls this season. Patrick Williams, I genuinely do not care which one you do. I don't care if you shoot the 3 and you miss it. I don't care if you drive hard and you end up turning it over. Okay? But what you cannot do in this situation is hesitate and then turn the ball over because you hesitated. This is the catch and think that has killed this Bulls team all season long. This is one of the plays that basically summarizes this entire Bulls season. The catch and think here. This play right here, it's a turnover because he decided, I'm going to hesitate, not shoot the 3 ball, which is, by the way, a wide open shot right now. There's no one within your vicinity. And I'm not going to drive hard to the basket, okay? Because guess what? There's a guy right here. Shoot it! If not that, then drive it. But you hesitated and you stepped out of bounds. Problem, okay? This is what's been killing the Bulls all season long. All season long. It just straight up can't happen. Next play, okay? We throw it down to Vucevic in the post. I hate this. I genuinely hate this. I don't understand this, but here we are, okay? Here comes Vooch. He turns on Austin Reeves. We then see the defense actually collapses, so the post-up does. Everyone thinks that it should do for once. He throws it out to Patrick Beverley in the corner, okay? This is a good pass by Vucevic. We see the rotation come into effect. Oh, shit. Sorry. Of course it just had to do that. I mean, running it back. Give me a sec. All right. All right, we're back. Let's watch this again. Here comes Vooch. Post up. Okay. He turns, collapses the defense. You see here. Here comes the rotation. Patrick Beverley is about to catch this ball in the corner, but here comes the rotation. He's not going to have this 3-point shot wide open. He then is going to throw it out to DeMar DeRozan. Okay. And because DeMar DeRozan doesn't shoot the 3 ball, he hesitates. The catch and think. Don't catch and think. Catch and do. It's either you shoot this DeMar or you drive this. Okay? I don't care which one you do. Do either one. I would much rather just have you shoot this, but you decide to hesitate. You decided to try to drive it, and then you turned it over. Okay? Look. This is not even like a full-out drive. This is like a half drive by DeMar. He runs right into 3 defenders, turns it over. The catch and think. Turnover. Lakers out and running. Lakers fast break points. This is how this Bulls offense has destroyed themselves all season. This cannot happen. DeMar DeRozan needs to either just shoot that ball or just drive hard to the basket. No dribble in the middle of 3 defenders. Can't do that. No catch and think. Just shoot it or go hard to the basket. Line drive to the basket. No dribble. No. Okay? And the funny thing is that DeMar DeRozan recently has been hitting his 3-point shot. I don't understand why he hesitated there, but he hesitated. Because if he drove it there and really collapsed the defense, then Patrick Williams is open. And then if they rotated him, then Zach's open. Like, it just bothers me seeing that. This is how the Bulls have killed themselves all season long. And it is stupid to watch. We got a guy, DeMar DeRozan, who averages 25 points per game, not willing to shoot an open 3-point shot. There's something wrong there. But here we are. What it is. We are a broken record, and this is a problem. We keep doing the same mistakes over and over again, which is kind of insane. Then people pump fakes and steps down the line because he wanted to go for the mid-range. Yep. Or was it hesitate? He usually pump fakes and steps on the line. Either way, he hesitated on a 3-point shot. I don't even really know what he was planning on doing. Okay? But when he caught that ball, he hesitated. Right? It wasn't a straight up shoot or drive, right? It was a hesitate, and then he looked like he was going to go for a mid-range, which doesn't make any sense. Okay? He needs to shoot that ball. DeMar DeRozan caught that, hesitated, then dribbled in 3 defenders. Unreal. It's funny how they treat everyone not named Zach, how the rest of the league treats Russ. That's kind of what's happening right now. Like, the Lakers, they straight up treated all the role players for the Bulls as Russell Westbrook. They're just like, yeah, shoot it. Go ahead. Shoot it. Or I should also say, like, Ben Simmons. They're just like, yeah, shoot the ball. Or, the funny thing is that it's like, they put them in a situation where they made them hesitate, right? Like, they were just close enough so that they can't launch the 3-point shot, but it made them hesitate, and then they turn it over. Or they made them hesitate, and then they made them put the ball on the floor, and then they don't know what to do with the ball on the floor, right? This just shows you how, just how badly the role players lack skill, right? It's either you shoot that ball with confidence, or you have to have the dribbling skills to go ahead and just go right to the basket, right? Or make sure you have the dribbling skills not to turn it over and make the right basketball play, which we just don't have that right now with these guys. We got too many guys that hesitate on the 3-point shot or the catch and shoot opportunities, and then when they try to put the ball on the floor, it's most likely the travel happens, or they turn it over somehow, or it just gets nowhere, right? And then the Bulls is just left like, huh? What do we do? And you throw it out to DeMar DeRozan for a mid-range. What happens? Yes, because this is engraved into his DNA at this point. He refused to change when he was 28 to 29 in his prime. When the league shifted, he got to shoot a couple of them in some games, but back to basics. Yeah, and Box, you brought this up before, right? You have said like DeRozan decided not to change his game when the league was supposed to change or was in the process of changing, and you brought up Brook Lopez, and you could not be more right now. Like, seeing that is a definition of DeMar DeRozan still, in his ways, right? Which, look, if he's not going to shoot the 3, that's fine. If he's not going to shoot the 3, I'm okay with that. But he has to then drive. He has to drive. But instead, he dribbled to the mid-range shot and dribbled in 3 defenders. Like, that's the problem, because that's what DeMar DeRozan is so habitually, like, just ingrained to do, is dribble to the mid-range, because that's what he does, right? And we're stuck here. My girlfriend went to the game today. She's a Lakers fan. It's funny, when the Bulls were close to a 500 record, we start losing. Look, man, I actually was starting to think the Bulls could get to 500 here. Yeah, and it just isn't looking too good. The good news is this: I want to make the play-in just because with how things are going. I like with the Pacers. They lost tonight very heavily, and the Wizards, I just have no faith in them right now. The Bulls are still 2 games ahead of 11th here. So I think the Bulls are going to make the play-in. They're probably going to be stuck here. And ideally, here's the thing: I want to face Atlanta over Toronto. I do not want to face Toronto. The Bulls have major issues against Toronto. So look, it's overall just going to suck. But yeah, I do think that the Bulls. All I'm going to say is this right now: with the way that these last two games have happened, or the way these last two games played out, I think this Bulls team, they're going to make the play-in. They're probably going to lose somehow. Like whether it's because here's what I think is going to happen: the Raptors are actually winning right now. The Raptors are. They've won like 15 of their last 23. So I think the Raptors, they're going to go up. I think Atlanta's going to go down, and maybe the Bulls beat Atlanta at the United Center, which I don't even know when that is. But the Bulls face Atlanta soon here, so the Bulls have a chance to take over Atlanta. But the thing is, though, is that maybe the Bulls get the 9 seed and the Hawks get the 10 seed, but then I think the Bulls just lose the second playing game. But either way, maybe the Bulls just lose the first playing game that they're in. This Bulls team is right now, they're not heading to the playoffs as things stand. And if that's going to really force the front office to make some major changes, I'm for it. I don't know exactly what Billy Donovan is like, where he is in his head, right? If he's such a player, like the reason why I'm full out hesitating just to be like 1000% Billy's saying we need to play 90s basketball is because I think that Donovan is such a player's coach and he's like willing to accommodate for his players. So he's trying to help guys feel comfortable, and hence he's posting up Vooch. He's letting DeRozan just go to the mid-range game. And I just wonder if maybe the front office is like, hey, we'll just go ahead and be like, we'll just trade DeRozan. We'll not re-sign Vooch. We'll just bring in a bunch of 3-point shooters. I want to see what's going to happen. Does Billy Donovan adjust to his then players and his personnel, or are we going to still be playing 90s basketball? Like I want to see what's going to happen there. So that at least kind of gives me a little bit of hope when it comes to this Bulls future that we're not going to be stuck in 90s basketball, because we know that Billy Donovan's going to be here for at least the next 4 years, right? So at least that's my hope, right? Is that if the front office is like, okay, we're getting rid of the 90s players and we're bringing in the modern day players, Billy Donovan adjusts and plays modern day basketball. But if he doesn't, then I'm just going to say that this Bulls team is screwed for the next 4 seasons. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. I really want it to happen. And if we see this Bulls team drop out and not make the playoffs, then hopefully the front office does that. I would personally like to just see Zach LaVine play in another playoff type game. And now, especially because he is healthy, right? And also for Patrick Williams' sake as well. Just get that sort of playoff type game in their under their belt. And if they lose it, fine. I truly do not care. I just want to get that one playing game, and then if we lose, great. If we win one game and then lose the other, great. If we still make the playoffs, I mean, I'd be fine with that too. I just think then, maybe the front office is going to be hesitant to make some moves, but I just don't think we're making the playoffs at this point, especially with the way that we played the last 2 games, and now kind of seeing right how the at least the good defensive teams guard Zach LaVine, because the league's been put on notice. Like Zach LaVine, with the way that he's played, is like up for like player of the month, and the league is on notice. But if you stop him, right, with the only modern day player on this Bulls team, then you force the Bulls to play 90s basketball, and you're gonna win. Okay, and it's against a Lakers team who, by the way, they don't shoot threes, right? But what they do actually do is get into the paint and they shoot free throws. 2 other efficient ways of scoring, and the Bulls don't get into the paint. They don't shoot free throws. They don't shoot threes. Problems. Let's see here. Wizards and Trailblazers franchise is going to go through hell once their players retire. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to be doing. We should have sold DeMar when he was peaking in value, man. I agree. I said we should trade him at the deadline. Well, we didn't. Do you think we could get either guards from New York for DeMar, Grimes, or Quickly? No. I think both Grimes and Quickly are both vital pieces right now for what the New York Knicks are trying to do. Yeah, I think specifically, if we're gonna get either of those guys, it'd be Grimes. I think Emmanuel Quickly has been so necessary for the New York Knicks because Jalen Brunson has had some injury issues, right? If we actually look at what the New York Knicks like their recent games, right? Jalen Brunson has he's missed some games, okay? And I do think part of it is this is the reason why I'm always like a little hesitant with Tibbs. So Jalen Brunson, he's played 66. With Tibbs, like you see guys like Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, they're playing heavy minutes, right? And this is the reason why I always get concerned with Tibbs, because he basically will play your players to the ground, and then come playoff time, the team looks dead, right? So I think if you look at a guy like Brunson, who is a smaller guard, and he's going to be missing time because he's playing career high minutes, he's playing a ton of minutes, and they rely on him a lot. Emmanuel Quickly has done a really good job as the backup point guard, as just a guy coming off the bench to be another ball handler, and they need Grimes to help run the offense when Jalen Brunson is injured. They need Quickly to help run the offense when Jalen Brunson is injured. Grimes, what he does, I like Grimes a lot personally, and he's had a pretty solid overall season. So I just think that he would be less important to the Knicks, but who knows? I think right now the New York Knicks, they're not going to be looking at DeMar DeRozan as a guy to like go ahead and trade for. They're going to be looking at DeMar as not a very valuable piece. But who knows? Tibbs won't trade for anything for a mid-range 34-year-old. That's DeMar DeRozan. Yeah. Especially when he doesn't stretch the floor. I don't think we get anything of real value from a good team. I'm worried that we're not going to get anything of good value. Like I truly, when I look at this, things change quickly, obviously. But when I look around the league, right, I just don't see a team that really would fit DeMar unless this is Denver Nuggets, right? This is like the only team that I can actually like genuinely see like them being interested in DeMar DeRozan, and it's just because that I know they have Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., but if you look at the Nuggets shot chart, they don't shoot threes, right? But what they do is get to the paint, get to the free throw line, right? So they could just be like, okay, if we aren't going to shoot threes already, then bring in DeMar DeRozan. He doesn't shoot threes anyway, so there's that, and he'll just kind of fit in. That's it. Like, I just don't see any other team. Now, there is one. I'm gonna bring this up now because I haven't really brought this. I didn't want to bring this up till later, but there is one thing that is intriguing me. And Noel, you just said it. There is this potential here for if DeMar DeRozan and LeBron James want to actually team up again. Okay, a sign and trade with D'Angelo Russell for DeMar DeRozan is like a legit possibility. Okay. If we're gonna look at this, if you're not aware, D'Angelo Russell is an unrestricted free agent this upcoming offseason. All right, he is on the last year of his deal, as you can see right here. He's on the last year of his deal. Okay. Now the Lakers, they have a lot of decisions to make. Okay, I don't know exactly what they're thinking. I would personally think that they're just gonna bring back D'Angelo Russell. They're not gonna just be rescinding any of these guys. By the way, like, I think Malik Beasley might have like a team option. Yeah, so Malik Beasley has like a team option. Rui Hachimura needs an extension, right? Jared Vanderbilt, like, they're all these guys that like they could technically have a ton of cap space, but they'd be sacrificing a lot. Like, a lot of guys that they just traded for, right? Would just be sacrificed to do such a thing. Now, again, if there is a team that doesn't shoot threes that might want DeMar, maybe the Lakers, okay? Because the Lakers, they also don't shoot threes. They're at the bottom third in terms of 3-point attempts per game. They play through the post a lot, and they get to the free throw line a ton, which is pretty ridiculous. But it's LeBron James and Anthony Davis, so it's not really that big of a shocker. So if there's a team that's gonna really want DeMar DeRozan, it'd be the Lakers, and so. I don't think D'Angelo Russell is going to get $30 million anyway in this upcoming offseason, especially with the lack of cap space for all these teams. But if you look at the Chicago Bulls and you look at DeMar DeRozan's contract next season, he is making $28 million. So D'Angelo Russell, just maybe he re-signs for 26, 28. I genuinely do not care what the number is. It's probably not going to be too high. They sign and trade D'Angelo Russell over here. And then we trade DeMar DeRozan back to LA. So there is that genuine possibility. And if that happens, by the way, like just saying if that actually happens, I'll be extremely happy because that is some serious value for DeMar DeRozan. I think that's an overpay by the LA Lakers, right? I genuinely think that would be an overpay if we just do a DeRozan for Russell swap. Like that is a genuine overpay in my opinion for DeMar DeRozan on a 1-year deal and is going to be age 34. D'Angelo Russell is 26. So I would think that would be an overpay, but I would gladly take it, and I'd be very, very happy. And if you're saying, well, if D'Angelo takes a pay cut, great, awesome. That's even better, and the money still works. I think at bare minimum, D'Angelo Russell's getting $25 million a year, at bare minimum, because his value is at bare minimum there, with how well he shoots the ball and how well he scores. So I love it. I personally love it, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I think that the Lakers were going to be like, we want more, and I'm not giving up more. I want the Bulls to make the playoffs. Also one hopefully for coaching change to roster change and 3 fingers crossed on the top pick. Yeah, we're not getting the top pick, so I'm just not expecting that. I do expect the Bulls to get a first-round pick this upcoming draft. I do think that the Portland Trailblazers are going to trade the pick that they got from the Knicks to the Bulls, and then they're going to release all the protections on their draft pick that the Bulls currently own. So yeah, I think the Bulls are going to have a first-round pick. It's just not going to be in the top 4. I think it's going to be in the late first round. It's going to be the New York Knicks pick. So LeBron doesn't learn from his mistakes after Russ. He's going to run with DeMar. Color me surprised. I do think that with DeMar DeRozan, you get a better score. So maybe maybe LeBron doesn't learn. Also, reminder, LeBron is old school, right? He has adjusted, but he also, he's been in the league since 2003. So he might want DeMar. Who knows? Let's be real, DeMar is better than Raymond. Yeah. Another guy that can't or just won't stretch the floor and needs the ball on his hands to be effective from... Oh, Draymond. You talk about Draymond. DeMar DeRozan better than Draymond Green? I think maybe barely, but it's not a lot. Draymond's defensive anchor with extremely high IQ, great passer, triple single for sure. We can't deny the effect Draymond has had for the Warriors for so many years. Draymond can do what he does. Does what he does because he's out in the Warriors. Highly doubt he could do that in LA. I think Draymond Green could be a defensive anchor anywhere. I genuinely think that. I think in terms of him being like a triple-double threat every single game, I do think that the Warriors have helped him with that. But at the end of the day, that's just being smart, right? That's using Draymond Green, who does not shoot the ball effectively, right? This is how you're able to use guys that don't shoot the ball effectively, which is you have him be a passer, you have him be a damn good passer, and you run around the court everywhere and cut hard and set screens and get open 3-point looks. That's how you be effective, right? Draymond Green doesn't need to shoot the ball because they run a very efficient offense. Makes sense. So yeah, I think Draymond Green, wherever he goes, would be a defensive anchor. I don't care which team it is. He would be a defensive anchor because he legit can guard 1 through 5 and can guard it at a high level. And he can also be an on-ball defender, a help defender, a good rotational player. He does everything defensively. I don't care what system he's in. He fits in and will be a defensive anchor. But I do think that maybe the Warriors have helped him in terms of his assists. But again, that's just being smart. I just think that's smart basketball, and they understand, the Warriors over there, how to actually capitalize on modern day basketball. Something that the Bulls still continue to struggle at. Yeah. You gotta look at though, I'm just saying, at least with the way that things are going, I do think that this Bulls team is not making the playoffs. I think we make the play-in and we lose. So, just saying, the front office has laid the foundation that this Bulls team is supposed to be making the playoffs this season, right? They have put that in stone. They said it after the trade deadline where we made no moves, okay? So, I'm gonna hold AK accountable with... He said that he expects his Bulls team to make the playoffs 100%. So if you don't make the playoffs, then I expect moves to happen, and it better happen quickly. So, get rid of DeRozan quickly. Don't re-sign Vooch, which I would ideally sign and trade him. I want at least a new starting point guard next season. I like Beverly, but he can't be the starting point guard. So yeah, I think the Lakers are looking to ship all the young talent they acquire next season. I disagree. When we're talking about young talent, okay, like when we talk about young talent, I want to know who you're talking about. All right, so when we look at young talent for this Lakers team, the only young talent, in my opinion, that they have is that they got in transactions, okay, is Rui Hachimura. Like, that's the only guy that I would consider young talent for this Lakers team. All right. If you want to have other people that was not in trades, it'd be Austin Reeves, but that's it. So who else would you say is young talent? Mo Bamba, I guess, but I just think Mo Bamba isn't really like that young anymore. I mean, he's gonna be 25 next season. Vanderbilt? I guess all right, I'll accept Vanderbilt. I just think that they need him though. Like, if you trade for Jarrett Vanderbilt, I don't see you trading him this offseason. I feel you keep him because he's on a very cheap contract and he's exactly what the Lakers need as a dude that is just an energy guy. Draymond is also vocal and he has shown leadership qualities. All these traits are traits that no one takes lightly. Yeah, he sure isn't scoring or shooting, but he is valuable. Yeah. I included D'Angelo, Obama, Jared, Rui, Austin. Okay, so you're putting other people in that like in Austin Reeves that weren't through transactions. Okay, so if you're gonna include D'Angelo Russell, that's fine. In my opinion, though, D'Angelo Russell is not a young talent anymore. He is 26 years old. I consider him a vet. All right. But I understand what you're saying. But in general, you're saying though that you think the Lakers are going to ship out guys that they just acquired to try to upgrade, which it's very possible. I find it very hard to believe though. Like for example, if I had to choose somebody that I think is going to get shipped out, it'd be Rui Hachimura. I think Rui Hachimura was brought in here to help them for this season, and then they're going to sign and trade him after the season. And he'll go out and do whatever, right? Or no, but yeah, sign and trade. So I can see that because what they can get with Rui is that if they sign him to a bigger contract, right? He gets a bigger contract. You sign and trade with that contract. They can bring in guys on bigger salary cap or on bigger contracts in return. Also gonna implode. He's gonna get paid somewhere and implode. That's my take, good or bad. That's it. I do think that with Austin Reeves, it'll be interesting to watch. I don't think he's a $50 million player, by the way. I know that people have said that. It's gonna be very tough for the Lakers to keep Austin Reeves because if they're actually planning on maneuvering around the cap and like trying to add more players, I expect them to had a very hefty number in terms of their salary cap stuff. And reminder, repeater tax is the thing. So just adding on Austin Reeves is just going to kill them if he actually gets $50 million. People are saying that he's worth $80 million suddenly. If he's worth $80 million, the Lakers are not keeping him. I know that for sure. Again, though, we've seen this before. The Lakers, they decide not to, or they decide to trade Alex, or not re-sign Alex Caruso to keep Taylor Horton Tucker, and then they traded him. So Austin Reeves, he's on that minimum contract. He's a second round, or I guess he was on I don't even know if he was drafted. Yeah, it doesn't look like he was drafted. But 2-year minimum contract, right? So the Lakers don't have bird rights, right? And they'll have early bird rights, but that doesn't mean anything. And then the only other way to keep him would be through the mid-level exception, which the Lakers are not going to have. The Lakers are not going to have the full mid-level exception because they're in a tax, right? So they have the taxpayer mid-level exception, which is less than the non-taxpayer mid-level. So the odds of keeping Austin Reeves are very, very slim for the Lakers, unless he just suddenly takes a ginormous pay cut, which I just don't expect. If Ray doesn't develop a three-point shot, I wouldn't pay him. He's not a good rebounder, and he's terrible defensive liability. So yeah, that's the thing. I think Rui's gone, just in general. Because he's on this little contract. If the Lakers, let's just say, for example, Rui Hachimura is signed to a contract that pays him $50 million annually by some other team. The Lakers then can actually bring back, because of base year compensation, they can bring back a contract that is $7.5 million. So base year compensation, it matter if a player gets a high significant raise in terms of their salary, base year compensation kicks in, which means that the player being traded out, or the team that trades out that player, the amount of money that they can get in return is half of what that player just got in their new salary. So Rui Hachimura, if he gets $15 million annually, that means then the Lakers can get $7.5 million in return with the player, which is adding money, which is what they want to do, right? Like, they want to add or find avenues to add more bigger contracts, and one of the ways to do that is sign and trade Rui Hachimura. So I just think he's gone. I just straight up think he's gone. I don't know where, but I think some team is gonna get him via sign and trade. And the Lakers are going to try to take advantage of that, and they'll get a good player from him somehow. I do think Lonnie Walker's also gone. I just don't think I just think it's not going to get re-signed. I just don't know what's going to happen there. Now, in terms of Mo Bamba, this is where things are interesting. This is not guaranteed for next season, but this $10 million is big. You can convert this $10 million basically into like $12 to $13 million, right? So Lakers can combine Bamba's contract with someone else's contract, right? And basically add more money to their salary or contract total. So there's ways for the Lakers to do this, right? Yeah, it'll be interesting. I will say, keep an eye out for the potentially this D'Angelo Russell DeMar DeRozan swap. It could happen. The only reason why it could happen is because DeMar DeRozan wanted to go to LA in the first place, right? And if the front office gets offered that, if they don't accept that, I'm going to be livid. But I don't know if we'll ever know, unfortunately. So, yeah. Come on, it's Lakers. Some GM will roll over get robbed. I agree with you. That's the reason why I say that this is the Russell for DeRozan swap. It could happen. I'm on the side that it's very unlikely, but it's a possibility. It truly is. Especially with the way that the money is set up, that it's very interesting to look at. All right, sorry, changing music here. It'll be interesting to see because, like I said, the off season in terms of the 2023 free agents are not great. I know people have talked about Kyrie. I just don't know how Kyrie Irving really gets there. Unless it's a sign and trade with D'Angelo Russell. Oh, sorry, this is NFL. Whoops. And even then, that just seems like a very low possibility. There's just not a lot of guys in free agency that I'm looking at. And I'm like, yeah, that's a very good player, or that's an all-star or whatever. So yeah, it's very tough to kind of figure it out. We'll see. There's just a lot of the Karis LeVert, the Gary Trent's, et cetera, et cetera. Again, Malik Beasley, his club option is going to get accepted. So I just think that the Lakers are going to bring back a lot of guys, and then potentially flip them later in the season, or maybe they actually do the sign and trade stuff. Who knows? LeGM might swap D'Angelo with Draymond as well. That's also a very big possibility. Yeah. They have CP3, Kobe, Dwight, or something plus $30 million in cap space, along with all their minimum salary guys. He analyzed it and it was crazy. Oh, sorry, wait, hold on. Come on, it's Lakers. The only time they stopped the Lakers, it was with CP3, and that's because, according to Gilbert Arenas, who's part of the trade, they'd have CP3, Kobe, Dwight, or something, $30+ million in cap space, along with all their minimum guys. He analyzed it was crazy. I have to look into that. I'm going to guess Chris Paul was on his rookie deal. I'm going to guess that was the case, right? Because Kobe and Dwight probably weren't. Like, the only way in my head that would have worked out is that Chris Paul is on his rookie deal, and obviously Kobe's getting paid because he's been in the league for a long time, and then Dwight also probably got a decent chunk of money, but then because Chris Paul is on such a low contract, they'd have that $30+ million in cap space, and then You don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about trying to keep them all together because you have all their bird rights. So it would all work out fine. And they got blocked. So I got vetoed because David Stern was part owner. Or I guess he was the owner of the Pelicans, Hornets at the time. David on Heat Check channel, he interviewed Gilbert. It's called "This Is Why the NBA banned CP3 to Lakers trade." Yeah. So I don't know the full entire story about that. I just know that David Stern was involved with the Hornets ownership. He got vetoed because other owners saw the Lakers were gonna cheat the system and could have like 5 max players at the time. I see. Yeah. I'll look it up later. What was hold on. NBA vetoes. $2011. So no, Chris Paul's not even on his rookie contract at that point. Huh. I'm curious how they actually did that. It's an interesting interview. I'll have to look at I'm actually interested. I'll look it up later and look at how the numbers all worked out. Yeah, that's odd. So that was 2011. Jesus. Okay. It seems like it was a lot longer ago. And Gilbert initially was part of the trade. Lakers would amnesty him. Okay, gets rid of his money, right? That makes sense. Got a huge contract, yeah. Yeah, I have to look into it because that seems very hard to pull off. Now, granted, the Miami Heat, they had the big 3 there, right? And they were all on max deals, right? But it helps when you have Dwayne Wade there already, and then you can just use bird rights to re-sign him. Yeah, I'll double check that out later because I'm interested in the numbers. Because I'll just put this out here. So like this is how crazy the NBA is. Just look at the NBA salary cap in 2011 compared to now, right? It's $58 million, right? And for next season, we're talking about the salary cap being like in 100. I think it's 132, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. 134. So the projected number for next season is $134 million for the salary cap. So it just shows you how big of a difference things are. Because this was $58 million. Yeah. You can watch my jaws drop. That was smart, but the rest of the GM, especially Cuban, got very upset. I can understand why. It also just shows you that there's a reason why a new CBA kind of was. Most of the small team owners revolted because they were seeing where this is going, where they would never be able to hold their good players if this becomes a new thing. I see. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna guess probably the new CBA kind of helped, not allow this to happen. But again, I'm not 100% aware. If you don't know, I didn't get into basketball until really 2013. When Nate Robinson was on the Bulls, he got me into basketball. So like I go back and watch history, and I watch 90s games. I watch like early 2000s games. But like the gray area for me is like that 2007 to like 2012 area. It's a little gray for me in terms of what really happened. Like I know Heat won their first championship with LeBron in 2012. And it's Russ Westbrook and KD. I know in 2011, I know Dirk and the Mavericks, they won the championship. I know who won the championship. It's just in terms of like other stuff that happened, I'm not exactly aware. The lockout situation is just I don't even know what really happened with that. I just know that the NBA season starting on Christmas Day, and Derrick Rose hit a crazy shot. I too, and most people obviously didn't know about it. Gilbert said it, and if it comes from a player that was involved in that multi-trade, I believe it. Yeah. I'm also going to believe Gilbert Arenas. Now, I will say Gilbert Arenas has also said some stuff that I don't really trust. But, yeah, I'm gonna probably trust Gilbert Arenas on that one. I just wanted to know the numbers for myself because, like, if I'm thinking about Kobe Bryant, Dwight Howard, and Chris Paul all on max deals and then still having a bunch of money left over, with $58 million, and again, I'm aware that the max contract back then is like $14 million. Like, it's not a lot compared to what we're seeing today, right? This number's the reason why. So I'm just, in my head, I'm just trying to figure it all out, but yeah, I'll look it up later. I'm not gonna look it up now. Yeah, that's that. I'm interested, and I want to pull up Twitter here because I'm interested in what Billy Donovan and what people had to say after this game. This is just a terrible game just to overall see. Lakers will trade Powell and buy him for CP3. That's not a bad trade. I mean, the Clippers got CP3 for Chris Kaman, Eric Gordon, and Alfred Camino. Oh, I don't think it's a bad trade at all. I don't think that's a bad trade at all. I'm just questioning, how do you have all the cap space still? It just doesn't make sense. But, there's probably stuff that showed it. By the way, Daniel Greenberg is a piece of garbage in terms of his reporting. Like, the other day, Daniel Greenberg said that Carly Jones, two-way player Carly Jones, won the G League scoring title. And if you guys aren't aware, Carly Jones is on an NBA contract. He's not a two-way player anymore. He's here. Okay? He's not in a two-way. You can see the two-way players are here. Like, Mother Trucker, you're a terrible reporter, I should say. Because you're not a reporter. You're just straight up awful. Now aware who I'm talking about. Oh, I guess it's his birthday or something. I'm gonna pull up the tweet because it's pretty garbage just to even look at. But here's this. Chicago Bulls two-way player Carly Jones has won the 2022-2023 G League regular season scoring title. Yeah, two-way player, huh? Two-way player. That's definitely a two-way player I have circled right here. Definitely. It's not like Justin Lewis and Terry Taylor exists, Jesus Christ, man! I hate this stuff, man. I hate seeing this. This bothers the absolute crap out of me. They're saying that they voted it for that reason, but he got traded for worse pieces. Yeah, so that was brutal. It was, Skokes. I am losing my mind with how terrible the Bulls half-court offense is. If you want to watch the beginning of the stream, I ranted for a good 10 minutes. So yeah, former two-way player. Yeah, why doesn't even do basic research? He doesn't. It's straight up disgusting just to see this dude try to do stuff. I went to Casey Johnson's Twitter. I did not see anything, so I'm gonna go to Cody Westerland. This is interesting. So, according to Cody Westerland, Billy Donovan has said that for the Bulls to do a better job at rebounding, one at each elbow, one at each block, and at least too many players are running too deep into the lane, leading to some rebounding troubles against certain foes lately. Okay, look, man, this is the part that I have an issue with him saying this, because if you watch the Bulls defense, right? The whole defense is supposed to rotate and cover up the lane, right? Like, the whole defense is collapse the paint, protect the paint, give up the open shot, or sorry, give up the 3-point shot, not the open shot. Give up a 3-point shot. We're going to contest a 3-point shot, though. The Bulls, by the way, they do a fantastic job at contesting 3-point looks. I know we give up a bunch of 3-point shots, but we are like one of the best teams in terms of contesting 3-point shots. So there's that. But I don't like Billy Donovan saying this, because if you watch the Bulls defense, like, we're always in rotation. We're always constantly running out to the three-point guy, right? And if he's asking for guys to come back in, we're rotating out, right? It's either we're collapsing the paint hard or we're rotating out. How the hell are guys supposed to get to the elbow and get to the block for rebounding battles when we're always in rotation, and guys are either going out or going in, right? Like, you don't typically see guys like in the middle, you know, in our defensive rotations. I kind of find this odd. The Bulls in general, though, they've done a pretty good job. Again, this season, they've done a really good job all season. Again, most of the season. It's not. There have been games, especially after the All-Star break, where the Bulls they've done a good job in terms of rebounding. Okay, specifically defensive rebounding. They don't offensive rebound, but the Bulls they're ranked 7th in terms of defensive rebounding per game. Okay. Also, if you want to go off of percentages, defensive rebounding percentages, the Bulls are 3rd. Okay, so in general, the Bulls' defensive rebounding is pretty solid. I like what the Bulls have done most of the season, which is that a lot of guys, they actually just funnel into the paint, and then they do a lot of tip around stuff. And what you actually see is that guys tip the ball to the baseline areas, and then you have guys set up at the baseline areas. I do think that in general that the Bulls just straight up just got out rebounded tonight. I think part of that is the lack of size on this team, so I don't know exactly what Billy's going to really do about that. That's not his fault. It's just a lack of size. But you know, no Drummond obviously hurts tonight, so I think this is more so a front office issue than a Billy Donovan issue. I just don't like what he's saying here, because I truly don't think this is helpful, because the way that the Bulls defense is set up, they really can't get to these exact spots. But I do think that they can get more to the block areas than the elbow areas. I just think it's so hard to get to the elbow areas when teams can shoot the 3-point shot all the time. This is just an interesting comment that I just saw. Obviously the Bulls, they've sucked with their rebounding. But yeah, we'll see. I would say Alex Caruso wasn't moving well tonight, so that's the reason why he got taken out in that 3rd quarter. So yeah, there's that. You know, you got better minutes. Sorry, D'Angelo still good on defense. You got better in Minnesota. I don't really know. I haven't really looked. I think he got a little bit better. Anybody know what happened to Drummond? Andre Drummond, he decided to deactivate all of his social media, and it's said for mental health issues. So I truly hope Drummond nothing but the best, and I hope he's getting the help necessary therapy that he needs. So I am definitely interested. I'm interested in what exactly happened, but I'm also aware that it's a private matter. So I'm just gonna let Andre Drummond just do his thing, and I hope that he's all right and he'll come back soon. So yeah, sure need him tonight. We definitely would have. It definitely would have helped tonight. I will say that. At some point we're down 20 rebounds. I mean, when you play Caruso, Beverly now at the same time, it'd be expected. Yeah, I this to me, the rebounding, the issue with rebounding, which is specifically only against this Lakers team and like the Raptors team, you know, the teams that really play big. I'm not here. I'm not here to blame Billy on that one. Like that's straight up just the Bulls. They lack size, and when you don't have size on the team, you're gonna get out rebounded. So it's really not. It's not that surprising at all. Offensive rebounds suck. I mean, I'm not shocked though. We play small. So yeah. Yeah, I just think that with this Bulls team, like, I don't exactly like Billy saying that. I would almost like him to just call it the front office on that one. So yeah. Fox, do what you gotta do. your mod. So do what you gotta do. Does anybody know what personal reasons Wiggins not playing? So the rumors about Wiggins are pretty disgusting. No one knows. Okay, the only people that know about Wiggins is the Golden State Warriors. And I'm gonna respect his privacy as well. It is sad because I do think that Andrew Wiggins has, he's played a lot better in Golden State, and obviously was huge in their championship run last season. So I hope Wiggins is going to be able to come back. It does suck that he's missed all this time though. And what do you mean disgusting? So the rumor that has been thrown around, which has been denied by Draymond Green and other people, was that Wiggins' wife or girlfriend, or I don't know what the relationship is, cheated on Andrew Wiggins, and then she had a baby, and then Wiggins found out that the baby, or Andrew found out that the baby was not his. That was the rumor that was being thrown out there by some random people on Twitter that claim to have sources. I honestly don't know who to trust on Twitter at this point, but I just think that that's a disgusting rumor to just kind of throw out there. And then of course what eventually starts happening is that people start believing that was true, right? And then they start attacking both Andrew and his wife or whatever. So yeah, I hope he's all right. I hope he's getting the help that he needs. I'm just gonna say this. I don't think that's true at all. And I hate the fact that was even spread on Twitter. But yeah, it's truly disgusting what people will do just to kind of make things up and of why something's happening. Now, I want to make this also very clear. We as fans, the media, anybody outside the Bulls organization does not have the right to know what's wrong with Andre Drummond. Okay, that's a personal matter that he has every single right to keep private, and he has the ability just to be quiet about that. Right? He has every right to do so. It was same thing with Andrew Wiggins. All the fans that are complaining about Andrew Wiggins right now, they have no right to know what's going on. Okay. Andrew Wiggins has the right to stay quiet about the situation and keep it private, and he has asked the Golden State Warriors to keep it quiet. So, it's we as fans and other people, just in general people. I'm not saying that everyone does this, but we shouldn't be speculating. Honestly, we really shouldn't, and we should especially not be starting rumors that we have no factual evidence about. So, all I'm gonna say is that I hope that if I know with Drummond, it is a mental health thing. So I truly hope that he is getting the necessary counseling and therapy he needs. And I hope that he's doing okay. With Wiggins, I don't know what's happening with him. All I know is that whatever did happen with him, it is pretty effed up. Steph Curry has said himself that whatever the situation is, it is pretty effed up. And then he's been away for a while. So we should all respect his privacy and just really wish him nothing but the best, honestly. And I hope Wiggins can return to the court soon, because the Warriors are going to need him in the playoffs as well. But if he can't, and he's not mentally able to, then sit out. Because if you're not mentally okay, then you should not be playing basketball, right? Mental health always comes first. Basketball comes second. We don't need to be having people out here that are not mentally stable playing baskable. So yeah. Thinking about it, I didn't want to go ham. I thought he was trying to be funny and play well. Apparently he was typical style. I didn't want to keep no, it's not your bad box. I don't like it when I see that sort of spam in my chat. He's only timed out. He can come back later, and I'll adjust him. But I was in the middle of something else that I thought was a little bit more serious, and I didn't want to talk to him at all. So don't worry about it. That's how she denied it. I think it could be wrong. I believe she also did deny it, but again, though, I don't exactly know. People need to start minding their own business. Whatever's the problem with Wiggins' personal life, seriously. Well, people kind of make the argument like, okay, so if let's just say the president of the United States, just suddenly just is just MIA for a week or something, and we have no idea what's happening. He's not available at all for the press or anything like that. They're like, well, like that just can't happen. Like, he's getting paid to be the president of the United States, and I'm like, look, if that happened, okay, first off, again, it's none of our business. All right, if the president of the United States needs to go ahead and do something to take care of themselves, then I truly do not give a crap about what you guys have to say. The president of the United States, he or she, if they have a mental health thing going on, then they need to go take care of it, and they'll have people able to do the job of being the president. And also, though, I would kind of think that the president would step down too. I just, who knows? I don't care what a player does on his own privacy, as long as he's professional with his obligations and towards his team. Yeah. What he did to the 76ers was terrible. Joel Embiid didn't deserve that. Sorry, what exactly are we talking about, Noel? President of the United States is still human for stars to go onwards. He has an ensemble of people next to him for a reason. Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, like if the president had to step away from mental health issues, first off, or something private, first off, we don't need to know. Okay, that's their own private thing, and then they have a bunch of people that can go ahead and help him or her do work. I just don't like that, comparison and all. I think that everybody kind of has the ability to have their own private matters taken care of. I know that some people... Oh, Ben Simmons. Got it. I see. Let me finish this thought. I know some people are complaining about this, though. It's like, well, Andrew Wiggins is getting paid a bunch of money, and he's getting paid millions of dollars to play basketball, yet I'm not saying this is me. I'm just saying in general. People say, well, I'm out here working 10 hours a day in the middle every single day just to keep food on the table for me. I have mental health issues, and I'm not able to go ahead and just take some time off for myself and still get paid a bunch of money. So if you're not gonna show up to work and not show up on time, then you gotta tell people why you're not showing up. And I'm just like, no, that's still a terrible argument. I'm aware that there are people out here that are just making minimum wage, work a bunch of hours, just put food on the table to take care of themselves and pay for rent. I'm aware that a lot of people aren't in Andrew Wiggins' position where you're getting paid millions of dollars, and you can just take some time off and still get paid millions of dollars. But just because you're not in that situation does not mean that you have the right to go ahead and start gatekeeping how Andrew Wiggins is supposed to take care of his mental health. We all have mental health issues, okay? And just because that you might have mental health issues does not mean that Andrew Wiggins cannot take care of his own mental health issues, all right? I hate seeing that sort of stupid argument from people that are just like, they're upset at their own situation, and they're just gonna rant about it and project off of someone else's situation, okay? It is truly upsetting to see people kind of gatekeep and, try to project their own anger onto someone else, but yeah, that's what happened with seeing that sort of thing. So with Ben Simmons, here's what I'm gonna say about Ben Simmons. Okay, I have an issue with Ben Simmons because he has come out a ton in the media, okay, and has said constantly like, "Oh, I'm ready to play." I'm like, or he comes out and is like, he is bragging, he like carries himself as if he's like the best player on the court all the time, and then you're in this playoff game against the Atlanta Hawks, for God's sake, and he doesn't perform. Now, I do think that he had some mental health issues, which I don't think that's that's something I do take seriously, but what I just don't understand is that the mental health issues turn into back issues, and then suddenly he just can't play. I'm aware that his back is an issue. Like, he is out for the rest of the season because of a back issue, but I don't know what happened there. I'm not here to say anything in terms of like I know and like I can tell you, or just I'm not here to accuse Ben Simmons of anything. It just doesn't look very good when suddenly it seems like you're holding out of playing with the team because you don't want to be there, to then suddenly it's mental health issues, to then you finally get traded, but then after you got traded, you don't play. Like, That to me makes no sense. I'm lost with that whole thing. So I'm if he truly has mental health issues, I really hope that he gets his help. But yeah, it is concerning with how his career's heading, and I don't know, man. I'm worried that after his contract is up, that he's gonna be out of the league. So yeah, I don't know. I truly don't know what's going on with him. Andrew Wiggins was one of the nicest guys who played ball for the Warriors last year. Without him, they weren't going to win a championship. Yeah, Andrew Sexton is generally good, kind of dude. Probably got injured by staying home. Yeah, I don't know, man. Playing Kyle with Face Clan for 12 hours a day can do that to a guy that's almost 7 feet. Yeah, he is obviously hobbled. He could barely move with the Nets. He looks stiff AF. I believe he has a back issue. The mental issues, I'm not buying. Yeah, I don't know, man. I will say that it is not a good feeling when like your coach and your teammate does call you out. So like if that causes mental health issues, then like that looks bad on Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid for sure. But my issue with Ben Simmons is, again, it went from he wasn't showing up to practice, right? And like the reports were that he was healthy and just it wasn't going to show up to practice, to then suddenly he's injured, right? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, I'm not going to accuse him of anything. It just, to me, the story doesn't line up. So yeah, I hope he fixes whatever mental health thing it's going on with him right now. But I hope he gets healthy too and is able to get back to his form, because right now he does not look like an NBA player. He looks very bad. And the other thing too that it does bother me is that it seems like he doesn't want to be coached at all. Like he doesn't want to buy into the Brooklyn Nets system, which Jacques Vaughn, in my opinion, has done a fantastic job with Brooklyn. Jacques Vaughn has gone through hell this season. I mean, you suddenly, Steve Nash suddenly just steps down. You take over the team, which is at the time was one of the worst teams defensively in the league. You have KD and Kyrie. You got Kyrie, who doesn't want to be there. You got KD, who just demanded a trade in the offseason. And you're winning with these guys. The Brooklyn Nets, they go on 11 game or however many game winning streak it was in the middle of the season. They're at the top of the league, and then suddenly Kyrie demands a trade and Kevin Durant demands a trade, and you just lost two of the best players in the league, and you're still right now in the playoff race with a brand new roster in the middle of the season. So it just sucks to see, Jacques Vaughn get like disrespected by Ben Simmons. Like, it just seems like Ben Simmons does not want to buy into the Brooklyn Nets system or whatever Jacques Vaughn is trying to do with him. And I just think that is very disrespectful for a dude that has gone through hell this season. And has done a damn good job as coach. So, I don't know. It is just really head-scratching. But looks like the Brooklyn Nets are going to trade him. So, he'll get his wish. Army Lover becomes a G League level player in the span of 2 years. How is that even possible? Injuries, I guess. Like, I'll just say that. He got called out because people know he was clubbing. People know he was buying new cars and getting out with chicks and playing video games for the rest of the day. Yeah, that's also the thing I have an issue with, but I'm just going to zip my mouth. Not a lot of light-skinned 7-footers running around, so not very hard to get spotted multiple times. Yeah, he is very easy to spot, I will say that. Yeah, just the whole video game, and then him playing video games and like genuinely not looking like he was trying to get into basketball shape. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm just going to zip my mouth there and not say anything. Alright. Alright, we're almost at 2 hours. Okay. Alright. I used up a lot of energy tonight on that rant. I do apologize for my rant, but it was a good rant. Yeah. Bulls, I said you need to win two of these 3 games. You lost two. So that's not ideal. You got one of the Philly games, so I guess that kind of makes up for my calculus for all this, but it's still not, in general, looking very good. So, Charlotte. You got to win this game in Charlotte. Now, Charlotte has given people issues, okay? If you're not aware of the Charlotte Hornets, they just beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. I know Shea Gilgeous-Alexander didn't play, but the Thunder are fighting for play-in seeding, and Charlotte won because PG Washington put up 43 points. Charlotte is like, they're suddenly, they beat Dallas twice also. So, like, they're just ruining playoff teams right now. So, Charlotte, this is not a team to take lightly. I'm aware they don't have LaMelo, but Gordon Hayward is there. PJ Washington, again, just put up 43 points. So, This is not a walk in the park against Charlotte. The funny thing is that I kind of almost trust this Bulls team better on the road right now because our last 3 wins are on the road because we won at Philly, at Portland, and at LA. So, I almost kind of feel alright with this game, but I shouldn't say that. Now, Memphis, I am very scared of. Milwaukee, I'm also very scared of. Those are the 2 teams that I'm like, okay, these are probably L's. Dallas is kind of a coin toss for me, and Atlanta is also a pretty big coin toss, but this is the biggest game, in my opinion, of the season. I would like to just, if we're going to face Atlanta in the play-in tournament, I would like to have home court advantage, and this might be the deciding game of who gets home court advantage. So, win this game against Atlanta. You're at home, which, again, kind of scary, but you need to win this game versus Atlanta. Just win this, okay? If you win this one, you win the tiebreaker for the season. So I would like to see them win this game, but who knows? Again, Dallas is struggling mightily, so you might win this game just in general, but I do think that is a coin toss. We'll see how many guys are playing for the Milwaukee Bucks on this game. Maybe the Bulls get a game from them, but I'm just planning on Memphis and Milwaukee to be L's. These other games, I'm like, go ahead and get them. I think if you win against Charlotte and the Wizards and the Pacers lose again, I think you're just kind of guaranteed in at that point. Not mathematically, I just know that the Wizards and Pacers just won't go undefeated for the rest of the season. So I just think it'd be very tough. So I think if you win this game against Charlotte, it is pretty tough for the Wizards or the Pacers to get into the play-in tournament at that point. So just winning against Charlotte, I think you're looking pretty solid. And then winning against Atlanta to get home court advantage, hopefully. And then, I think the Bulls win against Detroit. We just, for some reason, out of all the bad teams that we play poorly against, like, we, for some reason, play well against Detroit. I don't know what it is. The Bulls just destroyed Detroit. So I think this is fine for the Bulls to end their season against Detroit. So just win that one. So who knows? Let's see here. He's already a multimillionaire. He just got called it quits and start streaming or something. Don't dwindle teams and teammates into his ish. Yeah. We should have signed PJ when we had the chance. PJ Washington was not available at all, unfortunately. Restricted free agent. So, yeah. The moment the Hawks go one win above 500, they instantly go back to 500, or when below 500, the moment the Bulls get close to becoming 500, we go to a losing streak somehow. SMH, you can't make this up. Yep. Yeah, I saw the stat the Hawks are 24-24 or something. Yeah, the Atlanta Hawks are the definition of mediocre right now. The Bulls are under mediocre, but at least since the All-Star break, the Bulls have been like over 500 since the All-Star break. The Atlanta Hawks, if you do not know, since the beginning of the year, January, I believe this is the case. Since January, they have either been 2 games above 500 or 2 games below 500 or 500 or in between there, right? They have legit been stuck in that area for like the longest point. It is mind-boggling how mediocre they have been. The funny thing is that they just got a big win against the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. So we can see that this Atlanta Hawks team, they beat good teams, and then they go ahead and lose to the San Antonio Spurs by a ton of points and give up a 24-point lead against San Antonio Spurs. So, yeah, you just want the definition of mediocre in the Atlanta Hawks. The Bulls, at least since the All-Star break, they have been better than mediocre. I know these last 2 losses kind of hurt, but at least, the stats say they've been better than mediocre. So, yeah. But in general, it's very Bulls-ish for this season. Together we stand, but together we fall too. Yeah, it's all a beat that keeps us going, I guess. Yeah, versus Detroit. I have a feeling the Bucks are going to stress. I also have that feeling because I think that they'll probably clinch like the number 1 seed against us, and that's just going to be them destroying us. Again, I don't want this Bulls team really to make the playoffs. Like I was having hope after the Bulls beat the Lakers, but that hope has just died because I just don't know how we even jump the Hawks and Raptors at this point. In terms of playoffs or play-in seeding, and so I just expect this Bulls team not to make the playoffs. So I would like one game. I would like one good game in the play-in tournament against the Atlanta Hawks, and then if we win that one, great, and then we probably lose the next one. So there's that. I called it the moment it was happening. The Hawks and then the Mavs reaching the conference finals was a fluke. Damn, I'm good. I said that the Hawks was a fluke making the conference finals. I did not expect Dallas to be a fluke. Dallas and how much they've struggled is really surprising to me. I do like. There is something to be said though about Dallas's depth, right? You traded Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie, two guys that actually provided some serious depth for the team, and Kyrie looks like he's about to leave, right? So it looks pretty bad. Cyber Bulls 2077, wake up Bulls, we got games to lose. Yeah, I also think that the Heat are gonna turn on a switch in the playoffs. Jimmy Butler is always interesting in the playoffs because we've seen in the playoffs him either have great series or, you remember the year when the Miami Heat got swept in the playoffs in the first round by the Milwaukee Bucks, and that was not a good series from him. So we're gonna get either one, so it could go either way. I just think that unfortunately, like, I genuinely do not care where they land. Like, I think they're gonna land between 6, 7, and 8, and that means you're facing Bucks, Celtics, 76ers. I don't care whichever matchup it is. I just think they lose. If they were somehow able to get the 5 seed and face the Cavaliers, that would definitely be interesting, and I'd actually give them a chance. But if you're facing if you face the 76ers at the 6 seed, 7 seed against the Celtics, and the 8 seed against the Bucks, I just think you lose. So I unfortunately do not see them going anywhere. I think Bam still doesn't have a good playoff run. Lowry is done, and the rest of the team is meh. Well, the thing is also that the Miami Heat's 3-point percentage has just significantly dropped this season. Their defense is still good. It's very similar to the Bulls, except that the Miami Heat just have, a better record than the Bulls. Like, if you actually look at the stats, I'll bring up the stats here. Like, the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls, they're very similar in terms of stats. Like, it is oddly similar when you look at it all. But if you look at the advance, okay, if you look at defensive rating, the Miami Heat, they're here. They're 9th, okay? So they've been top 10 at defense and defense pretty much all season, all right? And when you look at that in offensive rating, they're down here. They're 25th, right? So they're down here. Now, here's the part that just bothers the absolute crap out of me, all right? And I can't get this out of my head. The Miami Heat, they have a negative 1.3 net rating. The Bulls have a positive net rating at 0.8. And yet the Bulls are under 500 and the Miami Heat are over 500. Like, how the hell does that work out? But here we are. So it just, like, should this Bulls team be over 500? Yeah, they really should be. It drives me insane that we're under 500. Again, there's a lot of things that go into it, but yeah, the Miami Heat's offensive rating, it took an absolute just fall this season. So very similar thing. So if this is the case for Miami, I just don't have faith in them in the playoffs, unfortunately. He seems like they're running on fumes. Yeah. Main Davis is a rim protection band provides, which we don't have at all, and they got their leader Jimmy Butler instead of a transplant signed last season. Late season, Pat Bev. There's that. I do think that there's that. I also just think though that Miami Heat, like, they have more 3-point shooting. Obviously, Tyler Hero. Again, the 3-point shooting percentage has dropped, but they still take 3-point shots. Like, that's the other thing that it'd be one thing if this Bulls offense just really sucked in terms of their, they're just not hitting shots, right? But the Miami Heat, they take close to 35 threes per game. Like, they still take 3-point shots. The problem is that the 3-point percentage is just this low. And they just have guys, that just haven't really worked out, unfortunately. Their point guard position is just up in flames right now because of Kyle Lowry's problems, and they don't really have a backup point guard. So they also have issues too. I do think Bam has made a difference for sure. But again, though, the Bulls have technically been better defensively and technically been better offensively, and yet we're down here. So what do you think about P. Will leading the league in ISO defense? This is the reason why I've said that I think Patrick Williams' development this season has overall been a positive. Okay, I think Patrick Williams and his defense in both help and perimeter and on-ball defense has just been great. I think he's developed really nicely and is on the right trajectory. Again, 21-year-old. So I just think it's an overall positive. There's nothing really wrong with seeing that sort of thing. Duncan Robinson is dead. He is dead. The moment he got his contract, he died. Yeah. Oh my God! You want to talk about a guy getting paid and then just never showing up again? Duncan Robinson is that guy. Yeah, the bubble helped a lot of guys get paid. I'll just say that. Truce and and Gabe Vincent also regressed. They were shooting like crazy last season. Yeah, Max Strus this season has definitely taken a step back. Gabe Vincent also is taking a step back. It also just sucks that Kyle Lowry just can't stay healthy, and he is not. He isn't obviously shooting the ball well. So there's just a lot going on. You know, this season they are on and off, but mostly off. Yeah. So this is kind of the issue that I have with the Heat. Like they do rely on that 3-point shot, right? I'm actually interested in their free throw attempts per game. Where are they? Yeah, their free throw attempts is down here. So like this is the issue with Miami, right? If you're not gonna shoot the 3-ball, like you're shooting the 3-ball a lot, but you're not making it, and then your free throw attempts are not exactly the highest, right? Not exactly great. And then I'll look this up now. NBA points in the paint. Let's see where they're at in terms of this. I'm gonna guess they're pretty low, which is oh yeah, they're pretty low. They're down here. They're lower than the Bulls. So kind of it's again very similar to the Bulls. You don't shoot a lot of free throws, you don't hit the 3-point shot at a high rate, and then you don't score in the paint. Those three things add up to a bad offense, and the Bulls are 24th offensively. The Miami here 25th offensively. Not a shocker. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. Do you think P. Will is capable of all NBA first team defense? I do. I really do. Not anytime soon, I'll say, but I think, you know, age probably 24, I can really see it. They reaching Kobe White levels of inconsistency. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Yeah, that is a perfect way to describe it. I find it interesting that their free throw attempts per game is actually pretty low because they do have Jimmy Butler who gets to the line a lot. But if you're 19th in the league in free throw attempts, that's still not good. If they were up here, you know, I could maybe see an argument, but they're not. He's all the tools. I understand his assignments, but there are times where you can see he's afraid. Tonight was a night he was clearly scared. Yeah. So P. Will tonight, I thought he didn't rotate very well tonight. I think his on-ball defense was overall pretty solid tonight, especially because he was guarding basically everybody out there. But it was a lot of his off-ball was just not exactly in the right spots, which that was the entire Bulls defense tonight, so I'm not going to blame him entirely. He had multiple opportunities to body LeBron, and instead he took a foot off the pedal and let him do his thing. So the only time I think where he got absolutely screwed over by LeBron was there was like a transition opportunity for LeBron, and I thought P. Will could have like really stopped LeBron's fast break opportunity if he just picked him up at half court. But we saw Patrick Williams backpedal, and LeBron got right to the basket. So I think that was like the only really thing I had a big issue with. The Lakers were really doing a good job of like making the Bulls switch and get LeBron, have LaVine guarding him. Which, by the way, I thought LaVine guarded LeBron fine. It's just LeBron hit the shots. The issue again with Patrick Williams was the off ball. Like we saw Patrick Williams, he hesitated to double team when he's supposed to double team. He hesitated to be the rotation man when he's supposed to rotate. Right. That's where it's like he's been pretty solid all season with it. Just not tonight, which again, the entire Bulls defense was just bad tonight. He had 3 or 4 transition runs where he could either stop or go hard for a chase down block. He pulled the brakes. Yeah, he did. Again, 21 years old. This is stuff that will come, or he'll do better as he plays longer, right? Yeah. I'm really not concerned about, one bad game. I mean, you are 21 at your best, and he is aging due with bad ankles. You will not find a better opportunity to kill him. He should be thirsty for moments like these. I think we all kind of know that Patrick Williams is not that aggressive when it comes to anything, including his defense. So, again, he might be more aggressive as he gets older. More so on the defensive side of the ball instead of the offensive side of the ball. And that won't be an issue, in my opinion. Yeah. I'm not too worried again about P. Will. I think his progression has been pretty nice this season. Yeah, good stuff to look at. The draft report I saw P. Will so accurate, man. It's scary. Yeah, I remember reading the draft reports too. They got it right, at least for now. Yeah, he doesn't know what to do with the ball right now. So here's what I'm gonna say about that. Like, let me show you a play, Noel, that I think kind of showed me like he's not going to develop into Kawhi. Okay, I already know like that was like a stretch to begin with. Okay, but this was kind of like my confirmation moment that I was like, yeah, he's not going to become Kawhi here, or like anything close to him. Like, or even any, like, I just don't think he's going to ever be a guy that I can reliably trust to score by himself or create his own shot. I just don't think he's ever going to have it. I think it was this. No, it was this. I think it was this.
Took the angle away, got a piece, and here comes
No, it's not this. It's not this. Let's see here. I think it was this. So you can't see the entire play, but if you watch how the Bulls kind of set this up, it was basically like a horn set where we had Patrick Williams and let me make this bigger. We saw basically Patrick Williams was here. We saw that Zach LaVine was here. Beverly was up here. Okay, so it was basically a horn set though, and it was basically an isolation for P. Will. Like this was actually like an isolation set for Patrick Williams. Okay, and it was similar to like a set that DeMar DeRozan would get, right? Where it's just basically, okay, you're in the middle of the floor, it's 1-on-1, go ahead and just go right at him. And now I'm aware that this is shade on Sharp, I believe, or not. Actually, I'm not even sure who that is. Actually, never mind. But I was like, okay, let me see what Patrick Williams does here, right? Because I wanted to see if he can actually kind of create some separation and create a shot here for himself. And we see here that he struggled really to just even get a shot off in the situation. Like, he got to the rim in a sense, but like he got there too slow. The rotation was already there from Eubanks, and then he's able to go up and block the shot, right? So this was just kind of my moment that I'm like, yeah, all right. I know that he is not going to become like a 20-point per game scorer, right? This was like my moment. I'm like, okay, yeah. And again, let's just be aware, this is against a Portland Trailblazers team who is playing nobody right now. Like these aren't good players, right? And I'm aware that Matisse Thybulle is a good defender, and then Eubanks has had a pretty solid season defensively, but these aren't great players out there on the court. Like we have, like this is Ryan Arcidiacono right here, right? This is just kind of my moment. I'm like, yeah, okay, I know now for sure. This is what I've said. OG Anunoby 2.0. I know OG at moments can give you like little spurts of like points here and there, but at the end of the day, OG Anunoby is going to be averaging around 17 to 18 points per game. He's going to rely a lot on his teammates to kind of help set him up, right? And, he's a great two-way player. He's a great 3-and-D two-way player, starting caliber player on the Raptors, and he's a very solid player, and I think that's not an issue at all if Patrick Williams develops into that. So, yeah. Trying to OD his best DeMar triple threat impression, and it didn't go well. That's a lack of confidence, mostly in my eyes. Maybe, yeah. You should have shot after the jab. I mean, maybe. I just know that jab is not going to work on other people. Like, that's not a good defender that's guarding him. I don't even know who it was. Maybe that was shit on Sharp. I genuinely do not know who that was. I actually think that was actually Keon Johnson, but anyway, yeah. He doesn't believe he is good or can be good, as good as he already is. That's the feeling I'm getting from him. He doesn't understand his tools and his abilities yet. So I do think part of it is him not understanding his capabilities yet. Like I still see him where I feel like he could kind of throw down a layup, but he decides to just lay it up, right? Sorry, bad wording. I do think that there are moments where I see it where I think he could dunk the ball, but instead he decides to just lay it up and in, right? That's kind of where I'm like, maybe he doesn't understand all of his capabilities. But it's also in this play right here where I'm like, I just don't know if he's ever going to have that shot creating ability that I think we all kind of want him to have, right? Because everyone thinks, like, everyone in their head, like, and these people that think that Patrick Williams is supposed to be like the next Kawhi, and supposed to save this Bulls team and should be the main focus of the rebuild, everyone thinks that he should be able to take this ball in isolation and then be able to score consistently and create his own shot off the dribble, okay? And right here, what I'm looking at is that he was not able to break down his defender much at all, and doesn't have the lift to even think about making this layup, right? And that's the reason why I just question his actual skills, right? So I do think obviously he's going to get better as he grows older. I just don't think that those skills will ever reach a point where I'm like, yeah, I can trust him to be a main option on the offensive end, right? You see how high he could jump? Yeah, he fails to reach max jump when he's trying to baptize someone because he doesn't understand his capabilities. It's kind of obvious in moments like these. I agree with that, especially when he is driving hard, but then we see him just somehow end up not able to get even remotely close to being able to dunk the ball, right? And there are moments where, instead of him catching and thinking, he'll actually drive hard to the basket, and for some reason it just seems the takeoff isn't there, right? So as you said, lack of confidence, right? He had that one moment with Jason Tatum. He used to work on his body control and finishing. So that one moment with Jason Tatum, that was the one time, and again, this is throughout 2 years. And I feel like if a guy was actually going to show you something, right, or show that he has that potential to be a main option on offense, I would have seen a little bit more. That was that one moment, right? And it was just that one moment where he was able to break down Jason Tatum and pull up for an isolation shot. That was one time. I haven't seen it since, right? So that's the reason why I'm just so concerned about it, because I just don't see it coming, unfortunately. Also, when he runs, it's like he is one step slower or faster at all times. I hope he will get there eventually in a couple of years. Also, when he runs, he takes small, fast steps. Have you noticed that he doesn't cover a lot of ground with each step than running even at full speed? So I think I mostly see that in the fast break opportunities, right? He does become very choppy with his steps, and I don't know what it is. It might be him trying to measure up everything, but I do notice that in the fast break opportunities, he really kind of does choppy steps. And if he just instead did the Giannis where he just takes long strides, right, he probably have a lot better time finishing at the basket, or even just able to nudge his defender and get him off balance and be able to finish over them. So yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, Fox. Like a baby that's figuring things out. Yeah, like I said, 21 years old. I do think that things like this actually take time, and I'm not concerned about it. So the fact that already that he has shown me that he has that 3-point shot. I know he didn't shoot well tonight. I'm aware he didn't shoot well tonight, but he's shooting 42% of the 3-point range. His defense is already at a very high level on in terms of on ball and off ball, and he is guarded basically 1 through 4 for this basketball team, right? These are all positive signs right now. Okay, and he's 21 right now. So as he just continues to get better, again, I don't expect him to become an actual main offensive weapon, right? But if he actually can become a similar player to Mikal Bridges or a similar player to OG Anunoby, that to me is a huge win. That he becomes a very, very impactful player then. Not all-star level, but a very impactful player. One of the most probably at that level of a very impactful player, but not all-star, right? There's that moment where he took long strides into a dunk. I don't know if you guys remember that one time. He definitely had a lot of one-time moments. Yeah, it's a lot of one-time moments with Patrick Williams, and that just isn't going to cut it. I'll just say this: Shadon Sharp, for example. I know with Shadon Sharp, he barely. I don't even know if he played college basketball, but I can see with him, he's had so many moments this season where I'm yeah, he has that in him where he's gonna be able to create his own shot off the dribble and be an actual offensive weapon. Now, do I think that he's going to be a main offensive weapon? Maybe not, but I know with Shadon Sharp that he can probably be a third option on a team. And look, Shadon Sharp, right? Like, it's not like he's averaging like, a ton of points. He's averaging 8, right? But I'm seeing these little spurts with him. And I'm like, oh yeah, like that's awesome to see. I already know, like, with Shannon Sharp that, like, in transition, Shannon Sharp is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Like, he is a one-man fast break that is just going to kill people. So it just, again, it's like I need to see these moments. But I don't need to see it consistently. I just need to see it sometimes, right? And I just, with P. Will, like you said, there's a lot of one-time moments, and we never see it again. Like, Patrick Williams, he dunked over Ivica Zubac against the Clippers last season, and I haven't really seen him ever do something like that since. That was that where he just was a scaredy cat from the get-go. It happens. He can't shoot the ball. He needed to work on his catch and shoot, rebounding, and dribbling in that order. Yeah, I think that he needs to, in terms of catch and shoot, he needs to get his release to be faster, and then also just be more confident in shooting a catch and shoot 3-point shot. Rebounding would definitely be next. I think his dribbling is actually pretty all right for a guy that's 21 years old and is a forward. So I'm not too worried about that, but that would be kind of, I guess, number 3. Yeah. We generally, even Vooch, suck at basic rebounding things like, boxing out. Yeah, I agree. He didn't play a single couch. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. Pat just looks timid and could use some more confidence when he's got the ball. Yeah. I think we kind of all know that. But I also I want to see more confidence in his defensive game, right? Because, again, there were moments tonight where he was hesitant to double team when he should have double teamed. He was hesitant to rotate when he should have rotated, right? He was hesitant to be out there on the fast break and running hard and trying to score on the fast break, right? Like, it's these moments with P. Will that I'm like, I need you to be more aggressive and more confident in yourself, not just when you have the basketball, but like in other aspects of the game, right? I just need you to be confident in yourself to make the right decision every single time. Going well without Larry, yeah. I can't for the life of me understand how Vushu basically can't really jump, get so many rebounds when he barely boxes anyone out. The reason why is because his Bulls team is small. I think that's the reason why. I honestly think that's the only reason why Vush gets all these rebounds. He tried to dunk on people earlier on the season, but he missed the dunks a couple of times. So, like, that's the thing too. It's like he tried those dunks, right, and he missed. So if you try these dunks, then I'm like, okay, you need to then figure out something else then to be able to score in that situation. But they not necessarily have to dunk on people, right? So instead of maybe dunking on people, do you have a floater, right? Or how about you actually go up strong and you lay it off, do a strong layup, right? I understand that, like, I think his teammates and his coaches are telling him, like, go up strong and don't go up at all, right? But every time he tries to dunk it in those situations, he just ends up missing it. So I'm like, okay, if you can't do that, then you have the athletic ability and the length to also make these layups from that position fine, right? He just needs to figure it out. He's learned how to finish with contact. He's bad at that end. Yes, he is very bad at that end right now. Very, very bad. Yeah. So when it comes to P. Will, like, I look at this, right? Like, already at the rim, he is shooting 65%, which is very, very solid already. But this number for a guy like him that is going to be 6'8", long athleticism, lengthy wingspan, right? This number should be kind of like, you would ideally like this close to 68%, right? So 64% again, it's not terrible. You want this number to go up a little bit more, because anytime he's had chances at the rim, it doesn't typically go very well, right? He underestimates his strength at all times. I'm sure right now he could buy 2/3 of his opponents. So I think it's a thing where I don't know if he understands how to use his body, right? Like, I think he understands that he is strong, but I don't think he understands how to use his strength to gain that advantage, right? Like, what we see, for example, with Zach, and this is something that Zach had to kind of figure out quickly, because he came in as a skinny dude, right? I think Zach kind of figured out, like, okay, how can I get the defender off balance with my strength, right? So that I can finish inside very effectively. Now, obviously, I'm aware Levine's athleticism is out of this world, right? So, it doesn't even, like, P. Will doesn't even compare to what Zach can do. But with Zach, he was a very skinny type dude, right? And with Patrick Williams, he came into this league already built with an NBA body, right? So I think with P. Will, it's like he needs to understand, how can I use my length and strength to get that advantage inside, right? Create that angle, and then also have the core strength to then finish through. That's just something I just think, unfortunately, right now is missing. Which, again, 21 years old, he'll figure it out. He is very strong to it's maddening. I don't think he can right now because he lost weight this year. I actually think I think Patrick Williams losing weight was actually, it made him stronger. Because here's the thing, we went through this whole thing when Lowry, apparently put on like 20 pounds, right? Do you remember that? And everyone's like, oh my God, Lowry Markkanen. I looked at that and I'm like, Lowry cannot finish right now. I think Patrick Williams, with him losing weight, I think he actually did get stronger. And anything, I would like for him to get more leaner because he has slow feet. So I'm not exactly like that concerned. Again, if we're talking about him losing weight, he dropped down to 215. That's not an issue, right? He has very strong core and quads. Personally, he should have gained more weight last offseason and became stronger. I think I just disagree because I think with P. Will, because Noel, you're also in that position where you think that Patrick Williams should be playing the small forward, right? We're talking about small forward, not power forward. You're also one of those people. So with Patrick Williams, he was drafted, right, and he was close to 240, 235, right? I think him dropping down to this isn't that big of an issue. Especially if he's going to be on the perimeter more. We've talked about this in the chat before. He has slow feet, right? So if this at least helps him with his slow feet, I'm fine with this. I just think that with him, it's going to be about building up, because I think we can all kind of see that he has that sort of foundation set. It's the upper body part is where I'm still trying to figure out with P. Will, is it strong or is it not? And I feel like if he maybe loses some weight, it might actually help him, but who knows? Need a monitor, I don't mind him playing the 4. Well, okay, either way though, I look at him as more of a perimeter player. So if that's the case, I'm just I'm fine with him being 215. I think what's gonna happen is that he probably lost some fat, and then now he's gonna start adding some muscle weight. So if that's what happened, if he comes into the next season and he's 220, I'm like, that's good, right? And just stay there. I don't need you to do any more after that. Because if you start adding more, then I start questioning how quickly you're gonna be able to move. He'll be fine against most teams, but I do think his skills are better at the 3, right? So, and this could be the interesting part moving forward, because I have said personally that he played small forward half his rookie season. He never looked uncomfortable getting the varsity. He looks uncomfortable at power forward. It's just me out of experience, though. That's what I see. So yeah, I'm just, in my opinion, I'm just saying he's forward. I truly do not really care which forward he plays, because I know at the end of the day he is going to be guarding the best perimeter player on the other end of the court, unless we have another good guard out there, right? And it's a point guard that's the main guy. So, sorry. Knows. But I've said moving forward with this Bulls team that if Zach is going to stay around, which again I want him to, then I feel like then the forwards would be Patrick Williams and Dalen Terry. Okay, so those are the 3 guys that moving forward, I'm like, okay, if I can name 3 starters, 2 years down the road, it'd be Levine, it'd be Dalen Terry, and it'd be Patrick Williams, right? And those will be your 2, 3, 4. I think obviously Zach's the 2, but then with Dalen Terry 3, 4, figure it out. I really do not care, right? And I guess in that scenario, it looks like P. was playing the 4, but either way, I just know that because I look at him as a perimeter player, that he's just gonna be out there on the perimeter more and guarding guys that are more perimeter oriented. So I personally think that him losing, dropping from 235 was good. And so if he can get up to like 220, 225-ish, like just kind of stay there, then we're looking solid. Because I'm not even sure what Zach is right now. I think with Zach's 200, and he's always been like around 200. So I just know with Zach before, like he was 185, right? I think the Bulls want to develop his shot blocking skills, kept him on the floor for that reason. Okay, yeah. And if that's the case, that's fine. But in the end, like I do think that his help defense is probably going to be better than Dalen Terry, so that's just not a shocker to me. And at the end of the day, right, if you just have a bunch of lengthy guys out there on the court, like it really does not matter who plays the 3 or the 4, who's the help defender, who's not, right? I just think it's like it's if you have like what the Bulls front office I think is kind of heading towards with Dalen Terry and P. Will, right, and then potentially another draft pick this season and then in 2024. Like I just kind of see them building up like okay, a bunch of lengthy guys, lots of athleticism, can all have they have all lengthy arms, they can all have a tall standing reach, right, and they're all pretty athletic, and it just. That's kind of where I'm looking at it, and if you have that all over the court, it doesn't really matter who's like the help defender, who's not, and then who's playing the 4, who's playing the 3, right? So that's just kind of where I'm seeing this Bulls team moving forward. Like I don't really exactly know if that's 100% the plan, but. Just from what I've seen from Dalen Terry, at least from Summer League, G League, and then also a little bit of time that he's played up here, like to me, Dalen Terry is going to be a starter in this league. I have a big faith in it. Now, will he become an all-star? I do think he kind of has that potential, but like who knows? But I can definitely see Dalen Terry being a starter in this league, and then if him and P. Will are your forwards moving forward, I think you're looking very solid as a foundation. They just got DeMar. They need DeMar to play. Can't be sure, obviously, with Zach, and they still give him his few out. I mean, yeah, there's also that, too. They just slide in at the 4, yeah. I do think that's probably a little bit more of what happened. But also maybe just preparing him like, okay, it's positionless basketball, but we're just going to have you be prepared to kind of guard any position, right? So it is what it is. I think Dalen Terry has the potential of being a triple-double threat with a solid defense. So do I. Like, I can see Dalen Terry like averaging 18 points per game and seven rebounds and 6 assists, right? Or even higher numbers than that. Now, the question is, and I think, like, because Unstoppable has also said this in my chat, right? Unstoppable says that he thinks Dalen Terry should be the point guard and have him do all that at the point guard position. I just can't see that yet. Like, I truly think that Dalen Terry is more of a wing, and I think he's going to be guarding wings, and I think it's just best to play him at the wing. So, who knows, honestly? But, yeah, I just see Dalen Terry being kind of like that triple-double type dude that plays great defense and is also another great defender that can kind of just do a little bit of everything. So, yeah. Yeah, knows rather the handles for that. It's not necessarily about the handles. I do think Dalen Terry has pretty decent handles. It's more so about the the pick and roll ability with Dalen Terry, right? Like what I don't want Dalen Terry to do, right, at least for now, for what I'm seeing, is to come down the floor and initiate the offense, right? Like, and then have him run a pick and roll at the top of the key. Because I just don't think he has that playmaking ability with, obviously, secure handles as a part of it. So yeah, that's kind of my issue with it right now. So I see him more as a wing. Maybe check the roster. We literally got 0 power forwards. I know. Yeah, I'm aware. It's pretty bad. But again, though, it's like when you look around the league, okay, like Milwaukee, for example, is I think the only team that I'm like, yeah, they have a power forward in Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like that is like a strictly he's power forward. Boston, Jason Tatum, you can say is a small forward. Philly, PJ Tucker, small forward. Tobias Harris, small forward, right? I guess Evan Mobley. Never mind, Evan Mobley counts. Julius Randle, I mean, I guess that's a tough one, honestly. But then Brooklyn, Dorian Finney-Smith. Miami, it's Jimmy Butler. Atlanta's, I guess, John Collins. Like, it's just power forwards vary. It's not like they can shoot where it can make sense here. Alright, I'm grabbing tissue. Sorry. We got all the disadvantage of a small ball and none of its advantages. I totally agree with that statement because, as I've said, we don't shoot threes. We shoot mid range all the time. Yeah, it's very odd. It's a very oddly constructed team. Also, their shooting form looks really weird. They need to fix that up. I agree, but I mean, I've said this all the time. I think it's about. I think he needs to just build, like, kind of rebuild his shot. Like, I think his feet look weird. I think everything just looks weird with Dalen's shot. Sorry, but the thing that I was thoroughly impressed with, and I'll show this clip here, like the stuff that I'm like more impressed with Dalen Terry and his development is like his ability to actually drive and like finish and actually get to the rim and finish with authority, right? Like, for example, like this sort of play that I'm about to show you here, Dalen Terry could not have done this at the beginning of the year. Right, yeah, like Dalen Terry, no shot would not have done this at the beginning of the season, right? Be able to take a guy and use his speed and his length to get past him, and then actually get into the paint, right, and then finish through contact. This right here wouldn't have happened, right? So, I'm just saying, like, yeah, his shot needs like a ton of development for sure, but I'm seeing development from him that I'm like, yeah, this is good. Like, I know that you did not have that initially at the beginning of the year, right? So let's just take this one for example too. This was, I believe, the corner play here. Like, he gets the ball in this corner here, okay? Corner. He looks to pass it, but then it's boom right into driving hard. He drove hard and finished strong through contact. Like that sort of thing was not going to happen at the beginning of the season, right? And to see that now is fantastic. I'm aware this is against Portland, but we did not even see this in the preseason, right? Like in the preseason, he had trouble even getting to the basket and actually be able to put up a shot. So to see this is such an encouraging sign from him that I'm like, okay, yeah, we're gonna be good with him. His shot obviously still needs some work, and I'm aware that still needs some work, and I'm sure he's gonna go ahead and try to fix that. So yeah, shot form, shooting form looks like. His shooting form looked really weird. Reggie Miller, his elbow sticking out towards a broken stick. He was the best shooter in the league. Yeah. Reggie Miller, I'm aware of his shot because he would do the clap of the wrist thing. Yeah. Mikal Bridges is one of the nicest forms in my opinion. I agree. So about rhythm and shoulder mechanics and how much you raise the ball. One motion, two motion for the shooter, not so much the form. Yeah. I'm not a coach when it comes to shooting a basketball. I was never ever good at shooting a basketball, but I think with Terry, when I just look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, like there's some I feel like there's some feet mechanics that need a little bit of work, but if he figures that out, I think we're looking fine. So another scenario here where, all right, corner, he hits it in the corner here, right? Pump fake, drive hard, goes past 2 defenders, floater, good. Like this is something that we would not have seen at the beginning of the season. He went down in the G League, got some time with the basketball, got some time to work on his drive game, and he's been doing that the entire time in the G League. I'm happy to see this, right? Because let's just be honest, okay? Let's just be honest. How many role players on this team would not be able to drive this like this and actually put the ball in the basket and finish through multiple defenders, right? How many guys would have just turned it over via a travel or a bad pass or just a hesitation and just decide to pull up for a mid-range shot, right? To see this is such a good shot. It's really such a good sign. I'm aware it's against Portland, but this dude was in the G League, and his improvement from the G League is suddenly showing up against big league play. So it's a positive sign. I was feeling like crazy till I ducked those 3 and then got destroyed and playing national team exhibition game in multiple failed operations at 16. That was Lonzo before Lonzo. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I guess you were Lonzo before Lonzo. At least it wasn't your knee. I apologize about my nose, man. This happens when I talk a lot. I guess I'll tell you this too. I'm planning on getting a surgery soon to kind of help with this. To help my nose. My nose is like a little bit deformed, and it's blocking my airways a little bit. So I am actually thinking about potentially getting a surgery to kind of help me, and then I'm hoping it's gonna help with my runny nose and it getting clogged up. So I do apologize that I have to blow my nose on stream. It's very disgusting, I'm aware, but I have to do it because I can't breathe. Yeah. So just in general though, like I'm impressed with Dalen Terry's improvement. I really liked what I saw from Terry in his Portland game, and then just kind of seeing him play in general. I think he's done a pretty decent job. So I think his defense looks really solid already, and I can just see how he can be a legit defensive force already. He obviously has things to work on, but I have like big faith in him to play well on the defensive end, because his length and his quick reactions and speed and everything, it's just gonna play such a big factor on the offensive side of the floor. Are you doing cleanings with Ivy? No. What I'm getting, so if you do not know, if you don't know what deviated septum is, it's basically my nose, instead of it being straight, right, it's like crooked like this. So just kind of think, instead of it being straight, it kind of has like a dent in it, and it's a dent towards my right side. So basically though, through my right nostril, I don't intake much air through. It's a very narrow airway for me. So my whole nose just gets all messed up, and so the surgery would be to just it just needs to get relocated and just put back into place. So I'm sorry. I'm glad your wife got the surgery, but I apologize that she had to go through all that. That is a lot. I don't need to get really okay. Yeah. She was doing cleanings and it was clogging my release. So like I have an opportunity to like kind of do cleanings, and that would be like cleaning out my sinuses and everything, which I also think it could help. But the big issue is the deviated septum, and I need my nose to be back to looking normal. The funny thing is that if I look in the mirror, if you look at me, you can't tell, but I can't breathe very well. So yeah. And so we think, at least our theory is that because I can't breathe very well, and when I talk a lot, I don't breathe through my nose, right? And so what then happens is that my body starts to react, and it starts making a runny nose. when I talk a lot because I'm not breathing through it, right? So it's a health issue, which is, once I graduate, which is coming in June, that's like my first priority is like get this done so I can start breathing better. Yeah, but I've been doing streaming for basically this entire bowl season, and I pushed through it all, so I'm able to at least do this. So I'm back by the response basically, yeah, it sucks. It truly does suck though. On a nose while playing ball, and it kind of blocked my breathing thing, but I was lucky because it healed on its own. Yeah, I think unfortunately a deviated septum is something I was just kind of born with, so it's not something like I didn't get elbowed or anything. It just kind of happened. So yeah, I've heard of people though that I have a friend that actually got elbowed in the face, and like his eye, like he actually like his eyesight got worse. He already was wearing glasses. He got elbowed in the face. His eyesight got worse. His cartilage in his nose was all like really deformed as well. Like it was like a big blow to the face, and he's never been the same because he can't really smell very well. So yeah, I'm aware that impacts to the face can also be very bad. But am I getting space for his no start riding? Yeah, it's kind of how it goes, unfortunately. Alright, sorry, I'm changing the music. And I already went through my previews for the next games actually. So what we're gonna do is this. Alright. Yeah, so as I said, games I'm circling, Bulls need to win these. Right? Just to kind of for sure you get into the play-in tournament. Again, I don't think this Bulls team is making the playoffs, so I just don't think it's gonna happen, but it is what it is. But I want to say to all you guys, thank you a lot for hanging out with me tonight and throughout this entire season. I'll still be here for the rest of this season, but I know it's coming to an end here. If you haven't already, I would appreciate if you hit that like button on the stream. Helps me out a lot. Also, I am going to start kind of asking around, like, if you ever want to recommend my channel, I also really do appreciate that. So if you ever want to do recommendations, I know Noel, he recommended my channel on the Bulls subreddit. That has been I'm eternally grateful for Noel and him doing that, because he helped bring a lot of people to this channel. So I do appreciate if you ever do recommend my channel to other people. That does truly help me a lot and with this channel. But I'm gonna call it here. I am gonna go ahead and make sure I have all my homework done for tomorrow, as I have to prepare for class, unfortunately. Yeah. South Bulls lost tonight. It absolutely sucks that we saw another L when I think the Bulls should have probably won this game. Half-court offense is still in the dirt. And I don't think that's going to change before this season ends, obviously. So I hope the Bulls against Charlotte do a really good job to just take care of business. Don't let Charlotte get going. They shoot threes, so just don't let Charlotte get going. Play good defense. Make your defense turn into offense, and you should be all right from then. Yeah, I hope that's gonna be a good little game for this Bulls team. Win against this team, please, and then we'll be looking at the last 5 games of the season after that. But appreciate all the support, guys. Appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace, y'all.